Chapter 430, The Beast's Soft and Hard Coercion. 1. That's right. How can a beggar like you have a pet beast? Who will believe you? The people behind Lon Ninger quickly echoed. Charm. It seems like they want to snatch you by force. What should we do? The little old man looked at the small and cute Charm and pretended to be worried. You have to protect me. I don't belong to this ugly monster. Charm pouted with some dissatisfaction. Lon Ninger really dares to have designs on me. She really doesn't know life from death. You little bastard, who are you calling an ugly monster? Lon Ninger shouted angrily when she heard that she was actually being called an ugly monster by a fox. It's you. Your heart is black, and your liver is stinky. What are you if not an ugly monster? Charm asked in return. Little bastard, you're really courting death. Just you wait. When I obtain you, I'll skin you alive and make you into a scarf, Lon Ninger threatened fiercely. Just with you. Charm's beautiful purple eyes looked Lon Ninger up and down, his fluffy little face full of doubts. Yes, me. I'm the fifth young lady of the Lon family. There's nothing I can't have once I want something, Lon Ninger said with a proud expression on her face. Is that so? A questioning voice sounded from behind everyone. Lon Lai's group of three were standing at the entrance of the inn with a smile that was not a smile on their faces as they looked at Lon Ninger. Big brother Leng. Lon Ninger immediately called out gently like a different person after seeing Leng Wudi. At this moment, Leng Wudi was the only existence in her eyes. She automatically ignored the other two. The little old man was a little speechless as he looked at the rapidly changing Lon Ninger. He rubbed his eyes in disbelief. This. Was the current Lon Ninger really the same person as the arrogant, domineering, barbaric, and overbearing Lon Ninger from before? The difference before and after was a little too big. Lon Lai, who was completely ignored, walked to the little old man with a face full of guilt. He bowed and said, Elder, you weren't scared, were you? No. You are. The little old man looked at Lon Lai and thought, is this kid also from the Lon family? Lon Lai, the young master of the Lon family, Lon Lai explained and looked at the little snow-white fox in the little old man's arms from the corner of his eye. Why does this little fox look so familiar? He seemed to have seen it somewhere before, but all foxes appeared to look the same. Oh. You're the young master of the Lon family who's about to be replaced, the little old man said in realization. Ah. The news spread really quickly, Lon Lai said helplessly. But it wasn't so easy to replace him. Alas. In fact, he really hoped that his second uncle and the others could succeed. However, he was afraid that they would have worked for nothing in the end. Brat, you're not unhappy, are you? The little old man said understandingly. This kid's reaction was written all over his face. Otherwise, if others heard him say this, they would definitely turn hostile. How do you know? Lon Lai asked softly, his handsome face full of curiosity. You didn't turn hostile, the little old man said with a naughty smile. Ah. You're right. I couldn't ask for more. Lon Lai said honestly. Kid, you're quite unconventional. I like you, the little old man said with a chuckle. Thank you. Elder, is this little fox yours? Lon Lai thanked him first and then couldn't help asking curiously. He's mine. What's the matter? Don't have any ideas about him. He's too young to make a scarf, the little old man warned with a wary look in his eyes. Elder, you're mistaken. I just think he resembles my friend's pet beast, Lon Lai said awkwardly. Boo-hoo. When did I say that I wanted to turn this little fox into a scarf? I shouldn't be wronged like this. As long as you don't have any ideas about charm, the little old man said with relief. Lon Ninger, who was ignored by Leng Wudi, turned her head and happened to see Lon Lai talking to the little old man. She roared, Lon Lai, this fox is mine. Unfortunately, neither Lon Lai nor the little old man paid any attention to her. Lan Lai, can we leave now? Sun Teng urged impatiently. Okay, let's go. Elder, leave this place quickly too. Lan Lai said and then reminded the little old man. The little old man grabbed Lan Lai's sleeve and asked curiously, Wait, brat, where are you going? We're going to the medicinal herb exchange meeting, Lan Lai said. Although the medicinal herb exchange meeting had not officially begun, a number of alchemists had already gathered there, so of course he had to go and see the commotion. Oh, I want to go there too. We're heading the same way. The little old man planned to rely on Lan Lai. Then let's go together. Lan Lai said as he glanced at Lan Ninger. The little old man nodded, hugged Charm, and left the inn with Lan Lai and the others. Stop right there. No one is allowed to leave. Lan Ninger stomped her feet in anger and shouted from behind Lan Lai and the others. Unfortunately, she was ignored. After Lan Lai and the others left the inn, they went directly to the medicinal herb exchange venue. At this moment, the entire venue had been set up. Moreover, some alchemists had already entered and were waiting for the medicinal herb exchange meeting to officially begin 3 days later. Young master, why are you here? The person in charge of the venue ran over obediently and respectfully when he saw Lan Lai. Although he was in the second master's faction, Lan Lai was the young master of the Lan family after all, so he didn't dare to be disrespectful to Lan Lai. Steward Wu, there doesn't seem to be many alchemists coming for the exchange this year. Lan Lai said knowingly as he looked at the sparse number of people in the entire venue. He had long been laughing in his heart. Alas! Second uncle thought that the profits in the exchange would be huge, so he did everything he could and finally obtained the right to manage this year's medicinal herb exchange meeting. But he probably wouldn't have dreamed that this year's exchange would actually be such a failure. He was really too happy. Ah! Young master, there are still 3 days before the exchange meeting begins. Most alchemists have not arrived yet. Moreover, the exchange will last for more than half a month, so many alchemists are not in a hurry, Steward Wu explained. In fact, he was also a little puzzled. Logically speaking, Blue Cloud City should have been packed with people by this time in the previous years. But why was it so quiet this year? Apart from some alchemists who came a while ago, these 2 days should have been the peak period for alchemists to come to Blue Cloud City, but no alchemists entered the city at all. Chapter 431, The Beast's Soft and Hard Coercion, 2, Oh, I see. Lan Lai nodded as though he understood. He asked Steward Wu a few simple questions and then walked around the venue. Steward Wu naturally followed closely behind Lan Lai and waited on him carefully. At this moment, the little old man came to a stall alone with Charm in his arms. The little old man squatted down and asked lightly, How can I exchange for this silverleaf grass? I want to exchange for a silver bell flower, the young man setting up the stall said softly as he glanced at the little old man. Silver bell flower? Is this it? The little old man took out a small silver bell-shaped flower from his ring. Yes, that's right. Elder, are you willing to exchange it with me? The young man said excitedly. He had been looking for a silver bell flower for a long time and didn't expect to finally see it today. Moreover, the silver bell flower in the little old man's hand was actually still fresh and of superior quality. He was really satisfied. No, the little old man said softly as he put away the silver bell flower. Elder, are you playing with me? The young man said with some displeasure. If he was unwilling to exchange it with him, why did he take it out to bait him? Boo-hoo. Young man, don't be anxious. Listen to me, the little old man said calmly. Then tell me. The young man didn't know what the little old man wanted to say to him, but he still politely listened to him. Young man, to be honest, I also exchanged for this silver bell flower with someone else. I'm not sure if she still has any, but I think you can try, the little old man suggested. Really? Who did you exchange with? The young man looked around the venue, looking for suspicious people. But there were not many people in the venue now, and he had basically asked everyone. Could he have missed someone? Young man, stop looking. That person isn't here. Where can I find that person? The young man said anxiously. The silver bell flower was really too important to him, so he definitely couldn't let go of this opportunity. Young man, I'm telling you the truth. This person offended the Lan family's fifth young lady, so she was forbidden from entering Blue Cloud City by Lan Ninger. If you want to exchange with her, you can only go out of the city to exchange. Moreover, she has a lot of good things in her hands. The little old man lowered his voice as if he was deceiving a white bunny. Okay, I'll go out of the city to find her. Ah. Elder, where is she outside the city? The young man said impatiently. 30 meters to the right of the city, the little old man whispered. Thank you, Elder. The young man quickly packed up and prepared to leave. The alchemists in the venue familiar with him couldn't help being a little curious after seeing him planning to leave, so they asked him the full story. Then they also packed up and left. Just like that, they spread the news one by one. In less than half an hour, the entire venue was empty. Why did everyone leave? Lan Lai asked with a suppressed smile after seeing the alchemists pack up and leave impatiently. Hee, good job. Let's go. I guess they suddenly have an urgent matter. Steward Wu guessed. After all, the exchange had not officially begun, so he never thought that anyone would dare to dig the Lan family's corner. After seeing everyone leave, Charm and the little old man looked at each other in tacit understanding, smiled evilly, and clapped their hands to celebrate. Steward Wu, go about your business. There's no need to wait on me. I'm just here to take a look, Lan Lai said. Yes, young master. I'll take my leave then. Steward Wu bowed and left. Don't you find that little fox a little familiar? Lan Lai asked doubtfully after Steward Wu left. What's wrong with your eyes? Isn't that Leng Ruoxu's fox? Sun Ting rolled his eyes at Lan Lai. It's really that one. But that old man said the fox is his. Lan Lai was depressed. Boo-hoo, he had been fooled. Of course, he would say the fox is his if it follows him, Leng Wudi said helplessly. Alas. His good friend was too naive sometimes. Could he have snatched it from Leng Ruoxue? Lan Lai guessed after hearing Leng Wudi's words. Are pet beasts that have recognized their masters so easy to snatch? Leng Wudi looked at Lan Lai as if he was looking at an idiot. Then what happened? I have to ask clearly. With that, Lan Lai walked directly to the man and beast. You are Leng Ruoxu's fox, right? Lan Lai asked directly. Charm rolled his eyes at Lan Lai and asked in return, is there a problem? Then why didn't you say anything when I asked you just now? Lan Lai said through gritted teeth. TCH, you didn't ask me. Charm covered his mouth and giggled. Upon hearing what Charm said, Lan Lai felt extraordinarily depressed. He turned his gaze to the little old man and looked at him resentfully. Lan family brat, don't look at me like that. I'm Charm's guardian now, so of course he's mine now, the little old man said matter-of-factly without blushing or panting. All right. I'm not angry that you lied to me. Then can you tell me what your relationship with Leng Ruoxue is? Lan Lai asked very curiously. When did such an old man appear beside Leng Ruoxue? Lan family brat, I have nothing to do with the Leng Ruoxue you mentioned. But if the Leng Ruoxue you're talking about is the master of this little fox, then I'm just making a bet with her, the little old man explained. What bet? Lan Lai's curiosity was piqued. The little old man was helpless and could only tell him about his bet with Leng Ruoxue. But who expected that Lan Lai actually laughed hysterically after hearing it? Lan family brat, is this very funny? The little old man asked gloomily. He knew that he had lost, but this kid didn't have to laugh so exaggeratedly. It's too much. Boo-hoo. Of course it's funny. Elder, you actually made a bet with a little fox. You're definitely going to lose. Lan Lai said with a smile until his tears were about to fall. Chapter 432, The Beast's Soft and Hard Coercion, 3, Little Fox. The little old man looked at Charm and fell silent. Old man, I told you not to make a bet with my master. But you refused to listen, Charm couldn't help saying. It doesn't matter. I will admit defeat if I lose. Anyway, it won't be a loss for me. I'll have a disciple with excellent aptitude, the little old man said generously. Lan family brat, tell me more about Lan Ninger. The little old man then said to Lan Lai. He was really curious. How did the Lan family raise such a piece of work? Okay. If you want to know, I'll tell you about her glorious deeds. There's enough to talk about for 3 days and 3 nights, Lan Lai said with a chuckle. Then let's find a place to sit and talk, the little old man suggested. No problem. Lan Lai nodded. The 4 of them and 1 beast left the exchange venue, found a tea house nearby, and began chatting. Outside the city gate, Leng Ruoxu's exchange meeting was in full swing, and it was extraordinarily lively. There were even more alchemists setting up stalls around her. Big sister, bring me some more herbs, the little black dog said while running to Leng Ruoxue. Here you go. Leng Ruoxue directly handed Blackie a storage ring. Her exchange meeting had only been open for 2 days, but she had gained a lot these 2 days. Not only did she exchange for a lot of precious herbs, but she also got to know many alchemists. Moreover, she let Blackie, who was knowledgeable about herbs, out because of the severe shortage of manpower. Blackie was obviously very adept at such busy work. As for her grandfather and the others, they took the initiative to maintain order because they didn't know much about herbs. Schwer, you must be exhausted. Freak came to Leng Ruoxu's side and wiped the sweat off her forehead with some heartache. It's okay, Leng Ruoxue said happily. Hee, she didn't know how the Lan family would react if they knew that she had dug out their corner and plotted against them. But it was very strange. It had been 2 days. Why was there no movement from the Lan family at all? Schwer, if the Lan family finds out that we held an exchange meeting on our own, they probably won't let us go. Freak teased. It's okay. Anyway, the feud with the Lan family is set. However, the reaction of the Lan family's patriarch is quite strange, Leng Ruoxue said doubtfully. Logically speaking, their behavior outside the city should be in the Lan family's plain sight, but no one from the Lan family came out to stop them. Leng Ruoxue was chatting with Freak when a young man suddenly appeared in front of them and asked, Do you have a silver bell flower? You want to exchange for a silver bell flower? Leng Ruoxue asked doubtfully. There had been too many alchemists who wanted to exchange for silver bell flowers, so she had already removed silver bell flowers from the exchange list. So this young man shouldn't know, right? Yes, please exchange with me if you still have more. The young man said very sincerely. How did you know we have silver bell flowers? Leng Ruoxue asked cautiously. An elderly man and a little fox told me. I really need a silver bell flower. Can you exchange it with me? The young man said honestly. What would you exchange for it? Leng Ruoxue asked. Hee, so he was introduced by the little old man and Charm. They were pretty fast. I can exchange a stalk of silverleaf grass with you. If it's not enough, I can add some other herbs, the young man said sincerely. No need. Just use the silverleaf grass. Leng Ruoxue said and gave Freak a look. After receiving Leng Ruoxue's signal, Freak took out a silver bell flower from his ring and handed it to the young man. Thank you. I'm so grateful, the young man said happily. Boo-hoo. I finally got it. It really wasn't easy. The young man took out the silverleaf grass. After the 2 of them exchanged, he mimicked the other alchemists and set up a stall outside the city. Schwer, looks like the Lan family's medicinal herb exchange meeting will be over soon, Freak whispered with a smile on his face. It's okay. The Lan family won't mind, Len Ruoxue said with a light smile. During the time they were talking, many alchemists came to exchange herbs with them. Moreover, they knew the young man from before, so Len Ruoxue readily exchanged the required herbs with them. Master, embark. At this moment, a white shadow pounced into Len Ruoxue's arms with a whoosh. Charm, why are you back so soon? Len Ruoxue hugged the cute little snow-white beast in her arms and asked doubtfully. It had only been 2 days. Hee, master, I finished my mission and came back early. Charm kept rubbing himself in Len Ruoxue's arms. Boo-hoo. I missed master so much. Little friend, I'm back too. The little old man appeared in front of Len Ruoxue gloomily. Old man, have you admitted defeat? Len Ruoxue asked in realization. I lost. That Lan Ning'er is worse than you said, the little old man said angrily. Humph. How could the Lan family have such a descendant? How disappointing. Ah. Len Ruoxue looked at the little old man, a little puzzled. Why is this little old man so angry? Could the Lan family have a close relationship with him? Little friend. I admit defeat. Where's my disciple? The little old man looked around, looking for Zhengyan. Zhengyan is over there. Len Ruoxue pointed at Zhengyan, who was surrounded by people not far away. Oh, little friend, your exchange meeting is getting quite big. The little old man looked at the sea of people in front of him and was a little speechless. It hadn't even been 2 days, but it had already formed such a scale. Old man, I heard that the Lan family's medicinal herb exchange meeting will require admission tickets. Moreover, the price has increased this year. We're not charging here, so of course, many people will come. Moreover, I have real materials. Len Ruoxue said with a smile. Her real materials naturally referred to those herbs. Hee, little friend, the Lan family still thinks that the alchemists who are participating in the exchange haven't arrived yet. How could they have expected you to stop them halfway, the little old man said with a happy smile. This little girl was really too smart. If his old friend knew about this, he would be depressed to death. Chapter 433, The Beast's Soft and Hard Coercion. For, old man, I was also forced into a corner. How could I have thought of this if Lan Ning'er didn't stop us from entering Blue Cloud City? Len Ruoxue pretended to be pitiful, implying that she was actually the victim. Yes, Lan Ning'er is indeed a little too much, the little old man said indignantly. He was even more furious after hearing what Lan Lai had said and finding out Lan Ning'er had done since she was young. Ah. Old man, could it be that you were also bullied by Lan Ning'er? Len Ruoxue was really puzzled by this little old man's unusual anger. The only explanation was that this little old man had also become a victim. Master, Lan Ning'er wants to use me as a scarf and calls him a beggar, Charm complained, his little face full of grievance and fear. Charm, don't be afraid. I won't let that woman off if she dares to touch you. Len Ruoxue caressed Charm's soft fur and comforted him. Hee, I was right. Yes, Charm knows that Master will protect me. Charm nodded obediently, fully displaying his cute side as a little beast. Charm, don't be scared. I will protect you too, the little old man quickly declared. He had always been unable to resist cute little beasts like Charm. Yes. Charm nodded happily. Little Snowy, we're here too, Lan Lai interrupted. Why are you here so soon? Len Ruoxue asked helplessly. Wasn't the Lan family going to change their young master? Why was Lan Lai still wandering around as if nothing had happened? Little friend, they came with me. We met in Blue Cloud City, the little old man explained. Oh. Lan Lai, the Lan family is about to change their young master. Aren't you worried at all? Len Ruoxue couldn't help teasing. Alas. Lan Lai is really heartless. So be it. Who cares? Lan Lai shrugged nonchalantly. He has always wanted to be replaced. Sun Teng interrupted. Hee hee, little Snowy, your little beasts can really fool people. Lon Lai smiled and changed the topic awkwardly. Just now, he, Len Wudi, and Sun Ting went to see the little beasts first because they were curious about how the few little beasts were drawing people in. After listening to them for a while, they were all in admiration of the few beasts because they were really too good at talking. Leng Ruoxue was a little puzzled. She knew that her beasts were very eloquent, but it didn't seem appropriate to use the word fool, right? Was he complimenting her beasts? Don't you know? Lon Lai said in disbelief. As their master, she actually doesn't know the abilities of her beasts. What a failure. Ah. I've been staying here exchanging herbs, Len Ruoxue said honestly. She only knew that her beasts had brought many alchemists over, but she really didn't know what the beasts said to the alchemists. Hee hee, go take a look yourself. Lon Lai smiled mysteriously. Len Ruoxue and Freak looked at each other and walked toward the location of the little beasts. Darling and the other beasts were currently surrounded by alchemists. Those who are passing by, quickly take a look. The best herbs are being exchanged. Darling began to shout loudly when he saw more and more alchemists gathering. Is there any fishy grass? Do you have a snake gallflower? The alchemists surrounding them asked in unison. Darling cleared his throat and said loudly, Stop. Everyone, quiet down and listen to me. Oh. Darling's words worked. After he finished speaking, everyone indeed fell silent. All of you, calm down. My master's herbs are rare treasures seen once 1,000 years. Don't have any ideas about my master unless you can exchange herbs of equivalent value. Also, don't exchange for those ordinary herbs from my master. She doesn't have them. But you can set up a small stall beside her. At that time, the herbs you need will naturally be easy to obtain. After all, my master's exchange meeting is much more popular than whatever that Lon family put out. Moreover, I dare to say that the Lon family absolutely can't produce such good herbs as my master. Therefore, you only have one choice. You can't participate in the Lon family's medicinal herb exchange meeting if you exchange with my master. If you participate in the Lon family's exchange meeting, you naturally can't exchange with my master. Ah. Why is that? An alchemist who had just arrived at Blue Cloud City asked in puzzlement. After all, this didn't seem to conflict in his opinion. Of course, it's because of the Lon family's fifth young lady. That ugly monster actually prohibited my master from entering the city. My master can't enter. If you want to exchange herbs with my master, you can only stay outside to accompany her. Darling said matter-of-factly. After Darling finished his long speech, the alchemists surrounding them were a little flustered. Ah! They had really never seen such an overbearing beast. Moreover, the number one beauty of the boundless heaven continent was actually called ugly by him. Alas! The aesthetics of beasts really couldn't be compared to that of humans. I'll tell you the truth. My master's medicinal herbs are the best on the entire boundless heaven continent. If you don't exchange with her, you will definitely regret it. And there's only one chance. Whether you can grasp it or not will depend on your choice. Darling cleared his throat and began talking non-stop again after speaking. Then it was Silverwing's turn to speak. I have nothing to say. However, what I want to tell you is that I've remembered your smell. If you dare to enter the city without permission, I'll bite you every time I see you in the future. Silverwing snorted coldly and warned. Hee hee, don't be afraid. In fact, I don't approve of using violence. However, sometimes, I have to use it. I'll reiterate. If any of you go to the Lon family's medicinal herb exchange, I'll burn you every time I see you in the future. Don't doubt my words. You can't bear my fire, Feng Zhan threatened with a smile. After speaking, he even breathed a small flame to serve as a deterrent. Chapter 434, The Beast's Soft and Hard Coercion. 5. White Dawn, who had been lying on a recliner pretending to be a master, only snorted coldly and didn't say anything. But his snort made the surrounding people feel immense pressure. All right. I hope we can cooperate happily. Hurry up and find my master to exchange for herbs. Remember, there's nothing you can't exchange for. Darling summarized again and chased away the people surrounding them. Then he lay comfortably on a recliner, crossed his legs, drank tea, ate delicious snacks, and waited patiently for the next batch of alchemists to arrive. After everyone left, Len Ruoxue and Freak slowly walked over from not far away. Beloved master. Darling was the first to jump into Len Ruoxue's arms and acted coquettishly. You're so amazing. You actually used both coercion and temptation, Len Ruoxue said with a laugh. She really couldn't do anything about her beasts. Alas. Why are these little beasts so cute? Master, that ugly monster with the surname Lan actually dared to forbid you from entering the city. Humph. Then well ruined their medicinal herb exchange meeting, Darling said hatefully. Ha, that suits me. Len Ruoxue caressed Darling's soft fur. Feng Zhan flew to Len Ruoxue's shoulder and said with slight pride, Hee hee, master, we have to make the Lan family suffer. Be careful. Len Ruoxue said worriedly. She thought about it and also let Icy out of the bracelet. Little Snowy, I want to sleep, Icy said reluctantly. Sleep here. Len Ruoxue said helplessly. She would be much more at ease with Icy staying with her beasts. All right. Icy looked at the beasts and answered. Then he jumped onto a recliner and laid down lazily. Len Ruoxue left some food for the beasts and returned to the exchange venue. 3 days later. Len Ruoxue's medicinal herb exchange meeting was extremely popular, attracting many alchemists. Today was also the opening day of the Lan family's medicinal herb exchange meeting. At the Lan family's medicinal herb exchange meeting venue, the second master of the Lan family, Lan Fei, who was presiding over the medicinal herb exchange meeting, arrived at the venue early. It was almost time for the exchange meeting to officially begin, but there was no one here. This made Lan Fei a little puzzled. Steward Wu, why isn't anyone here? Lan Fei asked with some dissatisfaction. Where did those damn alchemists go? There's actually not a single person. Second master, I'm not sure either, but I heard from the manager of the inn that many alchemists have checked out. Moreover, their whereabouts are unknown, Steward Wu replied cautiously with a forehead full of cold sweat. Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up and find out the reason. I won't let you go if we miss the time of the exchange. Lan Fei roared loudly, so angry that his face and neck were red, and the veins on his forehead bulged. Yes, I'll go immediately. Steward Wu said fearfully and disappeared with a whoosh. An hour later. A certain elder who came to participate in the opening of the medicinal herb exchange meeting began to make things difficult. Second master, can you explain what happened? The third elder, who was sitting in a chair, asked lightly. He had never liked this gloomy second master, so he naturally wouldn't let go of such a good opportunity. Steward Wu has already gone to investigate, Lan Fei said with cold sweat on his forehead. He was so angry. This was obviously his best chance to perform, but he didn't expect this to happen. Not only did he not get the chance to perform, but he also left a bad impression on others. Alas. The gains really didn't make up for the losses. Humph. You are only investigating it now. What were you doing earlier? The third elder snorted with a displeased face. Ah. This is just an accident. I think those alchemists are most likely delayed by something, Lan Fei explained with a frown. An accident? I think it's obviously a mistake, the third elder said stubbornly. Hee hee, third elder, calm down. It's the first time second master is in charge of such a big activity. It's normal for some accidents to happen without experience, the second elder mediated. Second elder, I know you watched Lan Fei grow up, but mistakes are mistakes. How can you use inexperience as an excuse? Humph. You didn't even pass this little test, and you still want to compete for the position of the patriarch? The third elder's words were very sharp. The Lan family might already have a young master, but that was only for the grandchildren. The current patriarch of the Lan family had yet to decide which son would take over the position of the patriarch after he retired. Moreover, it was common knowledge that most of the elders wanted the eldest son of the patriarch, Lan Lai's father, Lan Tian, to take over the position of the patriarch. This way, young Master Lan Lai's position could be more stable. However, the patriarch had recently released word that all his sons were qualified to vie for the position of the patriarch. Therefore, these sons of the patriarch's concubines were all restless. Third elder, I admit that I didn't consider it carefully this time. However, denying my ability just because of this matter is very unfair to me, Lan Fei argued. He hated this third elder, who liked to find trouble with him everywhere, to death. Humph. Old thing, I'll get rid of you first when I become the patriarch. Do you think this matter is a small matter? Do you think if there are such functions like this in the future, we will dare to hand them to you? The third elder asked in disdain. By the way, the opening time of the medicinal herb exchange has passed, but the person you sent hasn't returned yet, the third elder added. The third elder's words left Lan Fei speechless. Third elder, what's the point of saying all this now that things have come to this? Let's think about how to remedy the situation. The second elder said. Remedy? I've participated in so many medicinal herb exchanges, and this is the first time I've encountered an exchange without a single alchemist participating. If news of this spreads, our Lan family will become everyone's laughing stock. Also, what do you want to do with the people watching outside? The third elder asked loudly while looking at the people sitting. Chapter 435, The Shameless First Elder of the Lan Family, 1, What can we do? Of course, get the people to disperse first. Let's just say that there's no opening ceremony for this year's exchange, the fifth elder suggested. They couldn't kill all the surrounding people, right? The Lan family was not so bloodthirsty. That's the only way. The third elder nodded. Lan Fei, go out and disperse the people, the second elder ordered. In the past, the medicinal herb exchange meetings usually had an extremely grand opening, so there were many people who liked to come and watch the commotion. They were also very happy to have so many people paying attention to this matter. But they obviously didn't want too many people to come this time. Yes, Lan Fei answered and went to disperse the surrounding people. After sending the onlookers away, Lan Fei returned to the venue to be reprimanded. The third elder rolled his eyes at Lan Fei and said coldly, Lan Fei, tell me your plan. I'll find out the reason first and then decide how to deal with the aftermath, Lan Fei said calmly because he knew that it was useless even if he was anxious now. Many people were waiting to see him make a fool of himself. The third elder nodded. In fact, Lan Fei was smart. Unfortunately, he didn't use it in the right place. Second master, embark. Steward Wu's voice sounded in everyone's ears. Lan Fei grabbed Steward Wu's collar and asked anxiously, Steward Wu, have you investigated the cause? Why didn't any of those alchemists appear? Second master, I spent a lot of effort to understand the whole story, Steward Wu said hurriedly. Tell me quickly. Lan Fei urged with widened eyes. Let go of him first and let him talk slowly, the third elder reminded. Ah. Tell me quickly. Lan Fei released Steward Wu's collar and said anxiously. It's like this. I heard that people set up stalls outside our Blue Cloud city to exchange for herbs, so I went out of the city. I saw it, and it was indeed the case. Steward Wu told everyone sitting here everything he had found out. Everyone present frowned when they heard it, and most of their faces were as colorful as a color palette. Damn it. Those alchemists actually dare to go against our Lan family. Humph. Who gave them the guts? Lan Fei roared furiously, the veins on his forehead bulging. Steward Wu, were those alchemists organized by someone? The second elder grasped the main point of the matter. Yes, a person named Leng Ruoxue, Steward Wu said respectfully. Leng Ruoxue? Who is she? The second elder was a little puzzled. Surname Leng. Could she be from the Leng family? But the Leng family has always had a good relationship with the Lan family. The Leng family shouldn't do such a thing. She had a conflict with 5th Mississippi. 5th Miss forbade her from entering the city, so Leng Ruoxue held a medicinal herb exchange outside the city and directly stopped the alchemists who came to participate in our exchange, Steward Wu hurriedly explained while wiping the cold sweat off his forehead. He was full of admiration for Leng Ruoxue in his heart. She really had guts. She actually poached these people right at the corner of their Lan family. So it's because of the 5th young lady, the third elder said with a spurious smile. I wonder if Leng Ruoxue has an invitation, the third elder glanced at Steward Wu. Yes, young master gave her the invitation, Steward Wu said honestly, not daring to hide it. Alas! The invitation sent by our Lan family's young master is actually not as effective as the 5th young lattice words. It's really too unbelievable, the third elder said with slight mockery. The third elder's words made everyone present look at Lan Fei strangely. Third elder, this must be a misunderstanding. If Leng Ruoxue really has an invitation, how could Ninger not let her into the city? Lan Fei defended his daughter. Do you mean that Leng Ruoxue doesn't have an invitation from our Lan family at all? The third elder said without emotion with his eyelids raised slightly. Probably. Ninger has always done things with propriety. If Leng Ruoxue really has an invitation, how could Ninger not let her enter the city? Lan Fei said confidently. There's no need to guess. Let's go and verify it. Won't we know then, said the first elder, who had been silent. Then he stood up and left the exchange meeting venue. Seeing the first elder leaving, everyone present hurriedly followed. Just like that, the group walked out of the city in a grandiose manner. Outside the city, everyone couldn't help being a little speechless when they saw the fiery exchange scene. Most of these people were guests invited by their Lan family. Now, they actually benefited others. This scene is more normal. The third elder was not angry but actually nodded with satisfaction after seeing this scene. Let's go take a look, the first elder said expressionlessly. Elders, this Leng Ruoxue is really too much. We absolutely can't let her go. Lan Fei was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. This was obviously the scene he wanted. But it had nothing to do with him at all. At this moment, Leng Ruoxue was chatting with the alchemists, but she suddenly realized that the alchemists were silent. Moreover, they kept winking at her unnaturally. Leng Ruoxue subconsciously turned around and found a group of people behind her. Moreover, a few of them were staring at her angrily as if they wanted to skin her alive. What's the matter? Leng Ruoxue asked lightly. In fact, she had already guessed the identities of these people when she glanced at Lan Ming's expression. However, she had to pretend to be stupid when she should be pretending. You are Leng Ruoxue? Lan Fei asked disdainfully with his head raised. Yes, I am Leng Ruoxue, Leng Ruoxue replied with a light smile. Do you know where this is? Lan Fei questioned fiercely, his cold eyes spitting out flames of anger. This is outside Blue Cloud City. What's the matter? Don't you know? Leng Ruoxue asked calmly. She didn't know who this middle-aged man was from the Lan family, but she wouldn't be afraid no matter who he was. Of course I know this is outside Blue Cloud City, Lan Fei said fiercely through gritted teeth. Chapter 436, The Shameless First Elder of the Lan Family, 2, Then why are you asking me? Leng Ruoxue questioned with some displeasure, looking at Lan Fei like he was an idiot. Swear, he's most likely illiterate, Freak said indifferently as he hugged Leng Ruoxue's slender waist. Yes, it's possible. Leng Ruoxue echoed. Damn it. Let me tell you. This is our Lan family's territory. Who allowed you to set up your stall here privately? Lan Fei roared furiously. This is really strange. Blue Cloud City is the territory of the Lan family. Why is it so outside the city too? Then why didn't your Lan family build the city wall here? Leng Ruoxue asked in puzzlement, her face full of question marks. You. Damn it. Leng Ruoxue, do you know who you are talking to? Lan Fei roared at the top of his lungs. I really don't know who I'm talking to. However, what I want to say is, why did the Lan family let you out? Is there no one else in the Lan family? Why did they let an idiotic old man come out to embarrass himself? Leng Ruoxue said mockingly with a light smile. Who are you calling an idiotic old man? Lan Fei was about to vomit blood when he heard someone calling him an idiotic old man. He was only in his 40s, okay. How did he look like an old man? You. Bad memory is a sign of aging. You're about to, Leng Ruoxue deliberately said half a sentence to anger the middle-aged man to death. You, Lan Fei stammered, his breathing a little uneven. He couldn't even manage a complete sentence for a long time. Lass. He is the second master of our Lan family and the second son of the patriarch. How can you be so rude? The third elder suddenly said. He directly revealed Lan Fei's identity and even blamed Leng Ruoxue for being rude. But his tone sounded as though he was gloating. Ah. I'm so sorry. I should have been more reserved. Why didn't anyone tell me earlier that he is the second master of the Lan family? Boo-hoo, your patriarch won't be angry with me, right? Leng Ruoxue asked pitifully and uncertainly. The patriarch will definitely not be angry with you, but our second master will definitely hate you. The third elder thought and then nodded with certainty. Oh, then I'm not afraid. I see that his glabella is dark. He is definitely having bad luck recently. If anything happens to him, he won't have a chance to hate me, Leng Ruoxue said with confidence. Lass, you know how to read fortunes, the third elder said with a face full of surprise. He was already laughing in his heart. Hee, this Leng Ruoxue is really infuriating. I like it. In fact, the third elder was a very straightforward and protective person to begin with. If he liked someone, then no matter what this person did, it would be good in his eyes. If he didn't like someone, then no matter how much this person did, he would not be able to gain his favor, just like Lan Fei. I don't. But there's no need to read the second master's fortune. He will definitely be unlucky recently, Leng Ruoxue said with certainty. At the same time, she muttered in her head, I have to create some unlucky things for the Lan family's second master even if he isn't unlucky. Ha! Ha! I like you, lass. The third elder laughed heartily. The conversation between him and Leng Ruoxue actually made Lan Fei faint from anger. Leng Ruoxue looked at Lan Fei with infinite pity and said lightly, Alas! You really have a short life. Your ability to bear stimulation is really too poor. You have to train. The third elder stroked his beard and said seriously, Yes, that's reasonable. I'll suggest to the patriarch later and arrange special training for him. How can he compete for the position of the patriarch in such a state? The Lan family members standing beside the third elder were all at a loss for words. Third elder. Are we here to denounce Leng Ruoxue or to chat with her? The first elder looked at the gloating third elder, and the corner of his mouth twitched. Then he cleared his throat and said solemnly, Leng Ruoxue, why are you setting up a stall outside? Do you know that your behavior has seriously affected the medicinal herb exchange meeting that our Lan family has held for many years? I was forced into it. I'm also a victim. Leng Ruoxue said aggrievedly, her expression as if she had been wronged. Who forced you? The first elder asked curiously even though he knew the answer. Lan Ninger, the fifth young lady of the Lan family. Leng Ruoxue said fearfully. Ah. How did she bully you? The first elder continued to ask. That dog used her position to bully us and forbade us from entering Blue Cloud City. We had no choice but to set up a stall outside the city to exchange for herbs. Leng Ruoxue explained lightly. Oh, then why didn't she let you enter the city? 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down the first elder's forehead. This girl actually scolded Lan Ninger as a dog in front of him. How gutsy. She thinks we're ugly, mainly because of jealousy, because her big brother Leng would rather go on the road with us ugly monsters than bother with her. Alas. In fact, the number 1 beauty is also quite pitiful. Who would dare to want a woman with a bad personality? Leng Wudi isn't a fool. Leng Ruoxue kept on recounting Lan Ninger's crime, and her tone actually carried some sympathy at the end. Also, when we were camping in the wilderness, she used the excuse that she didn't have a tent to stay in the same one as young Master Leng. However, young Master Leng would rather stand guard throughout the night than enter the tent. After we arrived in the city, I reminded her to buy a tent, but she refused and even blamed me for being nosy. Alas. How wrong do you think I felt? I did it for her own good. It's fine if she doesn't care about her reputation, but if she implicates the young master of the Leng family and causes the Leng family to fall out with the Lan family, can she bear the responsibility? Moreover, young Master Leng can lend her his tent once for the sake of the Lan family, but would he lend it to her again and again? How brainless. Even if she wants to be the wife of the young master of the Leng family, she can't use such a trashy method. What would her actions cause for the Lan family's reputation? Don't you think so? Leng Ruoxue said earnestly, her tone so sincere that it was unbelievable. Is what you said true? The first elder asked while suppressing his anger. He really didn't expect Lan Ninger to be so shameless. Chapter 437, The Shameless First Elder of the Lan Family, 3, I'm a good child, and I never lie. If you don't believe me, you can ask your Lan family's young master. Ah. No, Lan Lai is no longer the young master. Leng Ruoxue said as if she had just realized it. Lass, who told you that Lan Lai isn't the young master? The first elder asked with slight displeasure, his forehead full of black lines. Lan Ninger. Leng Ruoxue answered very innocently. How can you believe her words? Lan Lai is still the young master of our Lan family, the first elder said very seriously. She is the most favored 5th young lady of the Lan family. Even Lan Lai has to be wary of her. Of course her words are trustworthy, Leng Ruoxue said stubbornly. Lass, do you have an invitation for the medicinal herb exchange? The first elder wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and changed the topic. Of course we do. Our invitation was personally sent by your former young master. Unfortunately, it was denied by Lan Ninger. Leng Ruoxue pretended to be regretful. Lass, I'll say it one last time. Our Lan family's young master hasn't changed. It's still Lan Lai, the first elder said with a slight headache. He realized that he really couldn't communicate with Leng Ruoxue. But, Leng Ruoxue wanted to argue but was interrupted by Freak. Schwer, let's not argue with the Lan family anymore. If he said they didn't change him, then so be it. It's only a matter of time before he's changed anyway, Freak said understandingly. Yes, that's true. In fact, Lan Lai's position as the young master is quite low. Lan Ninger calls him names all day long and doesn't take him, the young master, seriously at all. Alas. As Lan Lai's friends, we can't bear to watch any longer. The Lan family is really too lawless. The children of the concubines are all riding on the heads of the main family. Leng Ruoxue and Freak discussed as if no one else was around. That's right. I'm also the child of a concubine. I don't even dare to speak loudly in front of those from the main family. Freak agreed very much. At the side, the first elder finally understood after listening for a long time. These two people were deliberately putting on an act together. But even though what they said was reasonable, the Lan family's face and foundation were all lost by them now. This couldn't do. The first elder's eyes kept darting around as he said indifferently, Lass. Do you know that our Lan family has become a laughingstock because of your words? What does that have to do with me? It's your family's upbringing. Even if I don't speak, many people will discuss it in private. If you don't believe me, you can go to Blue Cloud City to ask around. See what the people say. Leng Ruoxue suggested kindly. Ah. Lass, let's discuss this later. Let's talk about the medicinal herb exchange first. Since you have our Lan family's invitation, how about I invite you into the city as the Lan family's first elder? The first elder said very cordially with a kind smile. In fact, how could he not know the opinions of the people in the city? It was just that the patriarch had his own thoughts, and it was inconvenient for him to say it without seriously harming the Lan family's interests. We've almost exchanged everything. There's no need to enter the city anymore, so thank you for your good intentions, Leng Ruoxue declined politely. How dare you refuse First Elder's good intentions? I think you don't want to live anymore. Lan Fei, who had just woken up, was furious after hearing Leng Ruoxue's refusal to enter the city. Don't tell me you pretended to faint. Why did you wake up so quickly? It's such a pity. How good would it be if you couldn't wake up for a long time? Leng Ruoxue said angrily. As soon as Leng Ruoxue finished speaking, bursts of low laughter emerged from the crowd. Even the Lan family members present couldn't help turning their heads, covering their mouths, and laughing secretly. Leng Ruoxue glanced at Lan Fei and the Lan family members behind him. Looks like the second master of the Lan family isn't popular in the Lan family. This will be much easier. Ahem, lass. You're really too unkind. How can you say what's on your mind? The third elder pretended to reprimand her. What he implied was that she could say it in her heart. I always say whatever comes to my head. Leng Ruoxue said cooperatively while looking at the third elder aggrievedly. Lan Fei, I'm talking to this lass. Why are you interrupting? The first elder said with some displeasure. First elder, Lan Fei wanted to argue, but the first elder didn't give him the chance at all. What about me? Can't you see that I'm cleaning up your mess? It's fine if you don't reflect on yourself, but you actually caused more trouble, the first elder reprimanded, his face full of dissatisfaction with him. First elder. Lan Fei was depressed. He was the second master of the Lan family after all. The first elder actually lectured him in public. He really didn't give him face. He was so angry. However, he didn't dare to talk back in front of the first elder at all, so he could only bear with it. Lan Fei, I order you to return to the Lan family estate immediately to reflect. You are not allowed to leave your room by even half a step without my permission, the first elder said resolutely. The first elder turned and ordered the guards beside him, send the second master back. Yes, first elder, the guards replied and then half-forced Lan Fei back to the Lan family estate. Lass, now that the eyesore has left, can we have a good talk, the first elder said warmly, as if he was the big bad wolf coaxing Little Red Riding Hood. But I really don't need to enter the city anymore, Leng Ruoxue said honestly. She was planning to leave. Lass, you've messed up our Lan family's medicinal herb exchange. You have to compensate us. The first elder glared at Leng Ruoxue and pretended to be pitiful. You're mistaken. I didn't ruin your exchange. It was Lan Ninger, so you can't blame me for this. Leng Ruoxue didn't want to take the blame for others. So you want to be irresponsible, the first elder said pitifully as if he was about to cry. I don't have any responsibilities. Okay, we're leaving now, Leng Ruoxue said bluntly. The Lan family is really too strange. I should stay away from them. The Moment Freak and the others, as well as the alchemists present, heard Leng Ruoxue say that she was leaving. They immediately packed up and prepared to leave, lest the Lan family vented their anger on them. Moreover, they had almost exchanged the herbs they wanted to exchange for, so staying would be a waste of time. Chapter 438, The Shameless First Elder of the Lan Family. 4. Schwer, everything is packed. Freak returned to Leng Ruoxu's side. Okay, let's leave then. Don't affect the Lan family's medicinal herb exchange, Leng Ruoxue said very kindly. Ah. The first elder was a little dumbfounded. What was going on? Did he say he wanted them to leave? He just wanted them to enter the city. Boo-hoo. This girl is really too evil. He was now very sure that Leng Ruoxue definitely did it on purpose. First elder, you don't have to be troubled. We're leaving. Leng Ruoxue waved at the first elder. Then she gave Freak and the others a look and planned to leave. All of you, stop right there. No one is allowed to leave. If you want to leave, step over my dead body. With that, the first elder sat on the ground and began acting shamelessly. Leng Ruoxue and the others, who were about to leave, as well as the alchemists, were all stunned, not knowing what to do. The Lan family collectively turned their heads, not daring to look at the first elder. However, they thought in unison, First elder, you are really unscrupulous in order to achieve your goal. Alas! Your sacrifice for the Lan family is really too great. At this moment, they respected the first elder even more. First elder, you want us to step over you? Are you preparing to commit suicide? Or do you want us to kill you? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously with several black lines hanging on her forehead. I find it painful to commit suicide. Kill me if you want to leave. The first elder steeled his heart and went all out. Anyway, the Lan family had already lost all its face. There wouldn't be much difference even if his was gone. Then what if the Lan family finds trouble with us after we kill you? Leng Ruoxue asked in distress. Alas! Is this old man really the first elder of the Lan family who is virtuous and respected? Why is he so shameless? No wonder the Lan family had so many pieces of work. Hee, then you can all stay. Then we will all be happy, the first elder said with a smile. But we've exchanged all our herbs, and there's really nothing else to exchange for, Leng Ruoxue said in a dilemma. It's okay. You just have to put on a show. Otherwise, our Lan family will lose all our face, the first elder pleaded. Boo-hoo. Take pity on me. First elder, time is money. Money. How much do you want? The first elder asked quickly. Money was not a problem as long as they were willing to stay. Ah. Leng Ruoxue was stunned. Did the first elder of the Lan family want to give them money? In fact, what she wanted to say just now was that they didn't have that much time. Lass, as long as you're willing to stay until the exchange ends, our Lan family will pay you. How about it? The first elder said anxiously with widened eyes. How much? Leng Ruoxue asked lightly. They won't cause trouble for me and yet will pay us. Is there such a good thing? She couldn't help feeling a little skeptical. How about 500,000 purple gold coins a day for half a month? The first elder asked expectantly. What do you think? Leng Ruoxue turned to ask the alchemists not far away. Is what first elder said true? One of the alchemists asked doubtfully. Would there be such a good thing? In the past, they had to pay the Lan family money when they came to the exchange meeting. They didn't expect the tables to turn today. Moreover, the Lan family was quite open-minded, and the treatment was quite good. Of course it's true. I guarantee it with the reputation of the Lan family's first elder, the first elder said very seriously and sincerely. I think we can consider it, another alchemist said after hearing the first elder's promise, but his face was obviously still a little worried. There's no need to consider. Such conditions are unprecedented and will never happen again. There won't be such an opportunity in the future, the first elder urged. What if the second master of the Lan family finds trouble with us after we enter Blue Cloud City? Leng Ruoxue asked. Yes. Blue Cloud City is the Lan family's territory. Will the Lan family cause trouble for us if we enter? The alchemists asked worriedly. He wouldn't dare. Wasn't he already grounded by me? The first elder said with certainty. Everyone, I am the third elder of the Lan family. I can also guarantee that you won't be harassed by certain people from the Lan family, the third elder promised. If someone harasses us, can we deal with that person as we please? No matter who they are. Leng Ruoxue asked lightly. The other Lan family members might take the words of these two elders seriously, but not necessarily Lan Ninger. Yes, our Lan family will never shield them, the first elder and third elder promised in unison. Everyone, since the Lan family is so sincere, let's give these two elders of the Lan family some face. Leng Ruoxue said very understandingly. Well, listen to Miss Leng, the alchemists replied. They were almost following Leng Ruoxue's lead now. In that case, I've decided on your behalf. Let's enter Blue Cloud City to participate in the medicinal herb exchange. However, first elder, you have to pay us in advance, Leng Ruoxue said in a seemingly fair manner. No problem. You enter the city first. I'll get someone to send the remuneration to you later, the first elder said readily. His mission would be completed as long as they were willing to stay. First elder, you can get up now. Leng Ruoxue looked at the first elder still sitting on the ground and reminded him. Alas! The first elder of a super family actually sat on the ground and acted shamelessly in order to achieve his goal. What would happen if news of this got out? Lass, if you agreed earlier, would I need to use this move, the first elder said nonchalantly. Aren't you afraid of losing face? Leng Ruoxue was really curious. How can this old man be so thick-skinned? What I care about is the result. It's good as long as I can achieve my goal, the first elder said stubbornly, his heart racing. Wasn't this forced by you, lass? He hadn't used this move for dozens of years. The last time he had used it was for Lan Tian. First grandpa. At this moment, Lan Lai, who had been hiding, walked out of the crowd. His eyes were slightly red as he spoke in a choked voice. Chapter 439, The Shameless First Elder of the Lan Family, 5, Damn brat, you're finally willing to come out? Is first grandpa's joke so enjoyable to watch? The first elder gently patted Lan Lai's head and pretended to be angry. This brat had returned to the Lan family for a few days, but he didn't even say that he was going to see him. He only knew to run out of the city every day. He was really infuriating. When did I laugh at first grandpa? Lan Lai said aggrievedly, seemingly about to cry. Alas! What a heartless stinky brat. Has third grandpa become heir? The third elder pretended to wipe his tears and sighed. The thick smell of envy seeped out of his body. Ah! Third grandpa, I didn't have enough time to greet you yet. Lan Lai said helplessly, cold sweat flowing down his back. Alas! It was a tough call, and the two old men were envious. He really didn't know what to do. Well, he should consult Leng Ruoxue when he had time. Humph. The third elder snorted unhappily, but his eyes revealed deep affection. Ruoxue, let's enter the city. Lan Lai laughed dryly and said awkwardly. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Even though there were some people in the Lan family who were a little annoying, she was still very satisfied with the Lan family's attitude. At least, these two elders of the Lan family didn't come to denounce them. This was already very rare for a super family. Otherwise, she wouldn't have agreed to enter the city on account of these two elders. As for the old man who had been staring at her from the Lan family crowd, she automatically ignored him. Someone who didn't even dare to speak in front of the first elder and the third elder was probably not an influential person. Leng Ruoxue and the others were escorted into Blue Cloud City like heroes. Lass, this inn is the best in our Blue Cloud City. Stay here. The first elder brought Leng Ruoxue and the others directly to the inn called home and pointed at it. At the same time, the manager of the inn immediately welcomed the first elder and the others when he saw them. Lass. Let's go to another place. You're so ugly, and I'm a beggar. It's really not suitable for us to stay here, the little old man said. After interacting with them for the past few days, he was already very familiar with Leng Ruoxue and the others. He had also accepted Zheng En as his disciple. Moreover, he had changed to addressing Leng Ruoxue as Lass rather than little friend. Makes sense. Leng Ruoxue nodded in agreement. Ah. This is... The first elder was a little dumbfounded. Did something go wrong again? Moreover, this little old man is so familiar. I'm just a beggar. A nameless pawn isn't worth mentioning. The little old man raised his head arrogantly and coldly. He was an extremely protective person to begin with, and he initially had some contact with them only because he made a bet with Leng Ruoxue. After that, he took Zheng En as his disciple. In just a few days, he was very satisfied with Zheng En as his disciple and also began to love Leng Ruoxue and the others. Ah! This time, the first elder was finally sure that this little old man was really emotional. Did anyone from the Lan family offend him? Moreover, even though he didn't know this little old man's identity, he didn't dare to underestimate this little old man at all because the aura on this little old man was really too strong. He is my subordinate's master, Leng Ruoxue introduced while suppressing her smile. She found that she liked this protective old man more and more now. Oh. May I know your good name, senior? The first elder asked curiously. What senior? I'm just an old man from the countryside. The little old man obviously didn't want to bother with this Lan family's first elder. Ah. The first elder was a little embarrassed. It seemed like this senior had a deep grudge against their Lan family. With this in mind, he couldn't help turning to Leng Ruoxue for help. Let's stay here. After all, it's a token of the first elder's goodwill. However, first elder, please restrain that fifth dog. It will be very troublesome if we're bitten by a dog, Leng Ruoxue reminded. Don't worry, don't worry. We will restrain her properly, the first elder promised. In that case, let's stay here for the time being. The little old man nodded and agreed. Manager, they are all esteemed guests of our Lan family. You have to take care of them. Otherwise, you will be the one to answer, the first elder warned. Yes, I understand, the inn manager replied fearfully. He had heard the conversation between these people and the first elder clearly. Alas! These people almost didn't even give the first elder face. How could he dare to slight them? After settling the residence of Leng Ruoxue and the others, the first elder and the Lan family members immediately rushed back to the Lan family estate. At the same time, Lan Fei and Lan Ninge were adding oil to the fire and complaining to the patriarch of the Lan family. In the main hall of the Lan family estate, the patriarch of the Lan family was sitting in the main seat. On each side of him were the family's elders. But the first few seats on the two sides were empty because the masters of these seats were all participating in the opening of the medicinal herb exchange meeting and had yet to return. Just as Lan Fei and Lan Ninge were talking until their mouths were dry and their saliva flew everywhere, a guard came to report that the elders had returned. The first elder and the other members of the Lan family walked into the hall of the main residence and sat down at their respective seats. The first elder looked up at the patriarch sitting in the main seat and said lightly, "Has the elder conference been brought forward? Why didn't anyone inform me?" First elder, "We aren't having a conference," an elder sitting answered and gave the first elder a look. Oh. Why is everyone here then? Also, didn't I lock the second master up? Who let him out? The first elder said with obvious displeasure. The second master escaped by himself, another elder said. Seems like we have to place a few guards at the second master's door from tomorrow onward. The people locked up can actually enter and leave as they please. How will others look at our Lan family this way? The first elder nodded cautiously. Father, did you hear that? The first elder actually wants to lock me up. Lan Fei immediately shouted when he heard this. He looked at his father expectantly, hoping that he could uphold justice for him. Chapter 440, Old Friends. 1. However, the patriarch of the Lan family had closed his eyes at some point and was sitting motionlessly as if he had fallen asleep. His reaction was really intriguing. The first elder raised his eyelids slightly and said indifferently, "Second master, don't you see that the patriarch is sleeping?" Lan Fei was at a loss for words. He had a bad premonition since hearing that the first elder was back. "Second master, you left your room without permission. Is there anything important?" the first elder asked coldly, his tone so calm, it was as if he was asking if others had eaten. "I am here to report to father," Lan Fei stammered. He was actually very nervous, and Lan Ning'er was also afraid in front of the first elder. "You have already been locked up. Do you have any work you need to report?" "Why didn't I know that you're so dedicated?" the first elder said mockingly. "Hee, first elder, the second master and the fifth young lady are here to complain about you," an elder said gloatingly. As soon as the elder finished speaking, Lan Fei and Lan Ning'er's hearts skipped a beat. They knew that it was impossible to hide the matter of tattling about the first elder, but they didn't expect to be exposed in front of him. "I see. Then tell me what our second master said about me," the first elder asked calmly, his expression unreadable. "The second master said that you covered up for the people who opposed the Lan family, ruined the Lan family's reputation, ignored the authority of the patriarch, and humiliated him, a son of the patriarch. As for the fifth young lady, she said that you never take her seriously, find trouble with her everywhere, and even associate with Leng Ruoxue and the others. By the way, our fifth young lady greatly looks down on those alchemists and thinks that their status is too low and that they aren't worthy of the Lan family's preferential treatment." A certain elder relayed Lan Fei and Lan Ning'er's words to the first elder word for word. Hearing this, the first elder only frowned slightly and then said, "It seems that I really have committed a heinous crime in the hearts of the second master and his daughter. However, I have something to report to the second master. The trouble that the fifth young lady caused has caused huge losses to our Lan family. Therefore, I have already promised to pay the alchemists who planned on leaving 500,000 purple gold coins per person per day if they participate in the medicinal herb exchange in order to appease them." "What? Our Lan family won't pay this. They can participate or not as they want. Humph. How dare they go against our Lan family? They really don't want to live anymore." Lan Fei roared furiously. "Second master, are you sure it's okay if they don't participate?" the first elder asked coldly with narrowed eyes. Lan Fei stammered again. "First elder, if no alchemist participates in the medicinal herb exchange, it will be very disadvantageous to our Lan family. However, I want to know who will pay the 500,000 per person per day," another elder asked. "The mess was caused by the second master and his daughter, so of course, this money has to be paid by them," the first elder said with a smile. "Why?" Lan Fei and Lan Ning'er were furious when they heard this. How could they have so much money? One person was 500,000 a day, and there were at least 100 people. The first elder glanced at Lan Fei and his daughter lightly and said with displeasure, "Because I'm cleaning up after you so that those alchemists will stay. Otherwise, our Lan family's medicinal herb exchange won't continue. Those alchemists are not important figures. So what if they don't participate?" Lan Ning'er said in objection. In her heart, the alchemist representatives of the various alchemist association branches were not very important. After all, the highest level among those people was only Master Alchemist. She looked down on those people since the higher-level alchemists were all gathered in the Alchemist Association headquarters. However, it was impossible for alchemists with higher status to arrive so early, so those who arrived early were unimportant alchemists. At least, this was what she thought. I wonder what kind of alchemist is considered important in Fifth Miss eyes? The first elder was really curious. What was the fifth young lattice brain made of? Why was it different from what others thought? The lowest-level alchemists who could receive the Lan family's invitation to participate in the exchange were master alchemists who were very promising, and their future prospects were limitless. But their fifth young lady actually looked down on these people. Of course, they have to be like my future master, as well as those alchemists who are Grandmaster alchemists and above in the Alchemy Association headquarters. They should be the big shots we value, Lan Ninger said with a face full of pride, her absolutely beautiful face full of cockiness. Fifth Miss, do you think that just a few Grandmaster alchemists can support our Lan family's medicinal herb exchange? The first elder asked in return. Of course, our Lan family's medicinal herb exchange will become even more famous with their help. Moreover, His Excellency Du Min is also coming to participate in this medicinal herb exchange, so it really doesn't matter whether those insignificant alchemists participate or not, Lan Ninger said confidently. After I become Du Min's disciple, I have to trample all these people under my feet. They are always at odds with me. Fifth Miss, can you tell me how many Grandmaster alchemists there are in the Alchemy Association headquarters? Will these people come? Even if they come, can you get them to exchange herbs with each other? The first elder rolled his eyes at Lan Ninger and thought, what a brainless fool. If there were only a dozen people at the medicinal herb exchange meeting, then what was the point of this alchemy gathering, which was known as the largest alchemist gathering on the boundless continent? So what if there are fewer alchemists attending this exchange? His Excellency Du Min will come anyway. He's more important than any alchemist. When I become His Excellency Du Min's disciple, and our Lan family is related to him, won't those alchemists take the initiative to curry favor with us? Lan Ninger said nonchalantly. Fifth Miss, are you so sure that His Excellency Du Min will accept you as his disciple? The first elder asked in disbelief. He really didn't know where Lan Ninger's confidence came from. His Excellency Du Min didn't seem to have explicitly said that he would accept her as his disciple, right? Chapter 441, Old Friends, 2, of course. I am an alchemy genius rarely seen in 100 years on the boundless heaven continent. If he doesn't take me as his disciple, it will absolutely be His Excellency Du Min's loss, Lan Ninger said confidently, her proud tail about to rise to the sky. The first elder really didn't know what to say about Lan Ninger's strong confidence. His Excellency Du Min obviously only said that he would consider it, but she thought that this was a matter set in stone. Moreover, she announced it wantonly and made everyone know. If His Excellency Du Min doesn't take her in as a disciple in the end, let's see how she ends up. Fifth Miss, His Excellency Du Min is one of the most virtuous and respected people on the boundless heaven continent. Why don't I feel that it would be His Excellency Du Min's loss if he doesn't take you in as a disciple? The third elder said indifferently, his shrewd eyes carrying a hint of faint mockery. If not for taking the patriarch's face into consideration, these words would probably be even nastier. I'm an alchemy genius, and am already an alchemist before I'm 20, Lan Ninger emphasized. This was the thing she was most proud of. It's not like alchemy geniuses like you are unheard of on the boundless heaven continent. If His Excellency Du Min takes in every person, wouldn't most of these alchemists become his disciples? The third elder said with a light smile. How can those people compare to me? I'm the most favored fifth young lady of the Lan family. Lan Ninger couldn't help shouting angrily. Do you think His Excellency Du Min will take you in as his disciple because of your identity? The third elder asked with some amusement. Then, Lan Ninger was about to refute when she was interrupted by a dignified voice. All right, stop arguing. Do everything according to what the first elder says. Lan Tao, the patriarch of the Lan family, said with his eyes closed. After speaking, he stood up from the main seat and left the hall. Guards, bring the second master and the fifth young lady back to their rooms. None of them are allowed to step out of the room without my orders. In addition, from today onward, deduct the monthly money of the second master and the fifth young lady to pay those alchemists until the second master and fifth young lady repay all the purple gold coins they owe the Lan family, the first elder ordered. You can't do that. I'm the most favored fifth young lady of the Lan family. Grandpa won't allow you to do this. Lan Ning'er roared hysterically after hearing what the first elder said. Fifth miss, didn't you hear what the patriarch said just now? The first elder asked with a frown. Hurry up and bring them down. The first elder didn't want to give Lan Ning'er any chance to speak at all and urged directly. Yes. The guard brought Lan Fei and his daughter back to their rooms after receiving the order. First elder, second elder, do you have anything to say? The first elder asked softly while glancing at the second elder. No. The second elder was about to plead on behalf of Lan Fei and his daughter, but he didn't dare to say anything after the first elder glanced at him lightly. No one could shake the first elder's authority among the elders. Since no one has any objections, then we can all leave. The first elder chased them away. First elder, you have to pay those alchemists as soon as possible, the third elder reminded before leaving the hall. The first elder nodded. Yes, I'll send someone to deliver it to them later. Use the money from the public fund first, and then the second master and his daughter will slowly return it. Hearing this, the other elders couldn't help but mourn for Lan Fei and his daughter for a few minutes. Alas! How pitiful! The father's and daughter's pocket money was actually all gone because of this matter. After the elders left the hall, the first elder went directly to the patriarch's study. He knocked on the door and then walked in. You're here, Lan Tao said indifferently from his chair. The first elder sat down opposite the patriarch and replied with barely a word, yes. Is he okay? Lan Tao asked nonchalantly, seemingly not caring too much. Extremely well, the first elder answered. Damn it. Can't you say a few more words? Lan Tao said furiously, almost exploding with anger in his heart. Don't you know everything? Do you need me to tell you? The first elder said irritably. He obviously missed his grandson, but he still kept finding trouble with his grandson. Their way of getting along was really strange. I want you to say it. How is he? Lan Tao bellowed somewhat childishly. I won't tell you. The first elder's stubborn temper also rose. You. Lan Hong. I'm your elder brother. Do you want to anger me to death? Lan Tao roared with some jealousy. At this moment, he looked like a child who couldn't obtain candy. He didn't have the slightest demeanor as the patriarch of the Lan family. So what? First elder Lan Hong said nonchalantly, not even bothering to look up. Anyway, he knew that Lan Tao wouldn't do anything other than shouting at him. You. Stay away from my grandson. Lan Tao shouted with jealousy. That was his precious grandson. But that stinky brat would cry endlessly as long as he hugged him since he was young. Moreover, he never gave him, his grandfather, a good attitude, but he would always smile non-stop at others. Alas! As long as he thought of this, jealousy kept flowing out of his heart. He's also my grandson, okay. If it weren't for me back then, would you have this grandson? The first elder said without backing down. Lan Tao was a little angry. He knew that he was a little stubborn back then, but didn't he compromise in the end? Why were these people still so vengeful? Especially that stinky brat. Boo-hoo. Big brother, you can't be jealous of familial love. First elder Lan Hong added oil to the fire. Boo-hoo. Return my grandson to me. Mother. Your son is being bullied. Lan Tao had no choice but to use soft tactics when he saw that hard tactics weren't working. Big brother, our mother has passed away for many years, the first elder reminded, his forehead full of black lines. Alas! He was really at his wit's end with his brother's shamelessness. However, if Leng Ruoxue saw this scene, she would definitely say that the Lan family's shamelessness was hereditary. Chapter 442, Old Friends, 3, So What? Lan Tao roared in objection with tears in his eyes. Big brother, it's useless even if you're jealous of me. That stinky brat doesn't even like to return home now. Lan Hong spread his hands and shrugged helplessly. Are Leng Ruoxue and the others that attractive? Lan Tao asked with some jealousy. My good grandson. Boo-hoo, he was hanging out with others all day now, and he was even calling a dog brother. Humph. Since he liked dogs so much, he would get someone to find a few good ones for him in case that stinky brat couldn't even find his house. Probably. That little girl is very interesting. Moreover, she isn't afraid of our Lan family at all. I can see that Liar is very happy with them. Oh right, Minger is also with them, the first elder said. In fact, the patriarch knew about these things long ago. Even Leng Ruoxue and the others' every move was within the patriarch's control. However, the patriarch didn't take any action. Moreover, he got people to hide all of this. Otherwise, Lan Fei wouldn't have been so passive. Is that so? Seems like I have to meet that little girl when I have time, Lan Tao said after some thought. Then you have to be mentally prepared. That little girl isn't easy to deal with. She's very sharp-tongued. Lan Hong reminded. Then I have to take a look and see the dog that stole my grandson away, Lan Tao decided. After Lan Hong heard what the patriarch said, the corner of his mouth twitched. That dog is your true goal, isn't it? At this moment, Icy, who was asleep in the inn, had no idea that he was being marked by a certain jealous old man. In the inn, Leng Ruoxue and the others were gathered in the room discussing something. Icy was sleeping on the bed, while Lan Lai was half lying on the bed, watching him sleep and touching Icy's fur from time to time. Lying on the bed with his eyes closed, Icy shook his little ears in displeasure and shouted, "Go away. Don't disturb my sleep. Little Icy, you've been sleeping for almost a day. Why are you still sleeping? Don't sleep anymore. Get up and play with me. Let's go play frisbee," Lan Lai said excitedly. If he remembered correctly, Dog's favorite sport was to fetch frisbees, hee. Fuck frisbee. Icy was furious when he heard the word frisbee. Damn it. I'm not a dog. Why would I fetch frisbees? You don't like frisbee? Then shall we play yarn ball? Lan Lai asked a little out of line. He felt that all cats and canine animals should like this sport. However, little Icy was really too lazy. Fuck your yarn ball. Icy was even angrier. Fuck. I'm not a cat. Why would I play with a ball of fur? Ah. I want to bite someone. Ha. Leng Ruoxue, not far away, couldn't help laughing after hearing their conversation. Unable to stand it anymore, Icy jumped directly into Leng Ruoxue's arms. Little Snowy, quickly chase this fool away. I'm about to die from anger. Boo-hoo. Little Icy, I like you so much. How can you despise me? Lan Lai complained, his eyes brimming with tears of grievance. Why doesn't little Icy allow me to hug him? I want to hug him too. I don't like you. Stop pestering me. Icy said impatiently as 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down his forehead. Boo-hoo, he was a male, so he really couldn't accept other males being so intimate with him other than his master. Ha! Stop bickering. Lan Lai, it's getting late. Shouldn't you go home? Leng Ruoxue said very implicitly. To put it bluntly, she was chasing him away. Little Snowy, you despise me too, Lan Lai said pitifully. Of course. Do you think she likes you? Freak said coldly. Lan Lai's words pissed him off. Schwer has never liked you, okay? Hurry up and scram. We want to rest, Freak added. Ah. It's getting late. Let's go back. Leng Wudi came out to smooth things over. All right. I'll see you tomorrow, little Icy. Lan Lai said reluctantly and left with Leng Wudi and Sun Teng. After Lan Lai's group left, Ling Ruoxue looked at Ling Qingtian and the others and said, "Grandpa, let's take turns to go to the exchange during this half a month." Okay. Ling Qingtian and the others agreed. Everyone, have a good rest. I'll go with Freak tomorrow, Ling Ruoxue said. She had already divided everyone into 5 groups, with 2 people in each group taking turns to watch the stall. Everyone nodded and returned to their rooms. The next morning, Ling Ruoxue and Freak arrived at the exchange meeting venue. Although there were many alchemists present, everyone was chatting in groups of 3 to 5. There were not many alchemists who really exchanged, mainly because they basically exchanged almost all their medicinal herbs. 10 days later. It was Ling Ruoxue and Freak's turn to watch the stall again. In the venue. Ling Ruoxue was leaning in Freak's arms and glancing around the venue casually. She said lightly, "Freak, there seem to be more new faces today." "Yes, they are probably from the Alchemist Association headquarters. I heard that they are the last to arrive at each exchange," Freak replied. The alchemists of the Alchemist Association headquarters were of higher levels and status, so they naturally wouldn't come to the exchange meeting early like the other alchemists. Therefore, they were always late. But even if they came late, they were still the biggest winners of the exchange in the past. However, it was difficult to say this time. While they were chatting softly, a tall, handsome middle-aged man in his 50s walked toward their stall. The middle-aged man squatted down and said critically, "Are these the herbs you want to exchange? They seem quite ordinary." "Yes. We are poor," Ling Ruoxue replied lightly. In fact, she had basically exchanged all her herbs, so the stall only had some ordinary ones now. Moreover, it was not only her. Most of the alchemists were the same. They were only here to make up the numbers. Chapter 443, Old Friends, 4, the middle-aged man's mouth twitched. "You're poor. How can you be poor? By the way, where's your puppy? I heard you have a very powerful puppy," the middle-aged man asked directly, not beating around the bush. He looked around but didn't find a single dog fur. "Sleeping," Ling Ruoxue said softly with her eyes raised, but she was alert in her heart. This man doesn't look like he's here to exchange for herbs at all. Moreover, why is he asking about Icy? "Let me see that puppy." "I'm very curious," the middle-aged man said through gritted teeth. "I'm sorry. Icy doesn't see outsiders." Ling Ruoxue refused without thinking. This man is really too strange. Does he have a grudge against Icy? Why is he gritting his teeth at the mention of Icy? "I don't care. I have to see it," the middle-aged man said unreasonably. "No." Ling Ruoxue was amused. "How interesting. Who does this person think he is?" "I want leave if you don't let me see that puppy," the middle-aged man said shamelessly. "Up to you. Freak, let's go," Ling Ruoxue said with some amusement. How could she meet all sorts of crazy people? "Okay," Freak replied. The two of them stood up, packed their things simply, and left the exchange meeting venue. The middle-aged man was stunned. Then he immediately followed. Walking on the streets of Blue Cloud City, Freak looked back at the middle-aged man following them. He frowned slightly and said with some displeasure, "Schwer, that person is still following us." "It's okay. We're about to reach the inn," Ling Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Although she didn't know why this man wanted to see Icy, her intuition told her that he shouldn't have any ill intentions. As soon as Ling Ruoxue and Freak arrived, they found that the entrance of the inn was crowded. Moreover, the surrounding people were discussing. What happened? Freak and Ling Ruoxue looked at each other in puzzlement. "I really can't tell. This man looks very loyal. How could he cause someone's death? You can't judge a book by its cover." Yes. It's really terrifying for an alchemist to cause someone's death. Upon hearing everyone's discussion, Leng Ruoxue and Freak pushed through the crowd and walked directly into the inn. At this moment, Zheng En was confronting a greasy-looking man in his 30s in the lobby of the inn. The man looked at Zheng En arrogantly and provocatively, while Zheng En said nothing. But his flushed handsome face and trembling body showed his current anger. Zheng En, I didn't expect you to still be alive. I thought you had committed suicide long ago, the man said gloatingly, his slightly feminine face full of pride. Sun Wei, you are not dead yet, so how can I bear to die? Zheng En suppressed his hatred. He knew that he didn't have the ability to deal with Sun Wei now. Moreover, he couldn't cause trouble for his young lady. Therefore, he chose to endure Sun Wei's humiliation. Anyway, his young lady had said that it was never too late to take revenge. He had waited for so many years, so what were a few more days? Ha, do you think you are my match? You lost to me 15 years ago, and you can't beat me now. Sun Wei said confidently. With his current status, it was simply easy to kill Zheng En if he wanted to. But he wouldn't let Zheng En die easily. Zheng En was once the person he was most envious of. Moreover, the feeling of a cat catching a mouse was the best, so he wanted to play Zheng En to death slowly. That would be more satisfying. Is that so? Leng Ruoxue's voice sounded indifferently in the lobby. Who are you? Sun Wei looked at Leng Ruoxue with some displeasure. Where did this ugly monster come from? You better not meddle in my affairs, or I will definitely make you regret it. Zheng En is my subordinate. Who do you think I am? Leng Ruoxue asked coldly. Miss, Zheng En called out in embarrassment, his handsome face full of guilt. He knew that he still caused trouble for his young lady. In that case, an ugly monster like you is his master. Ha! I didn't expect that our once famous alchemy genius would actually find himself a master. Seems like you're really not doing well. Sun Wei laughed hysterically, his greasy face full of pride. Shut up. This is my business. Zheng En shouted. He could tolerate Sun Wei humiliating him, but he wouldn't allow Sun Wei to humiliate his young lady. What? Are you angry from embarrassment? Am I not telling the truth? Sun Wei asked with a smug face. Zheng En, step aside, Leng Ruoxue ordered lightly. She hoped that Zheng En could take revenge himself, but this didn't mean that she could tolerate others bullying her people. This Sun Wei had obviously touched her bottom line. Yes, miss, Zheng En answered and then obediently retreated to the side. Your name is Sun Wei, right? Leng Ruoxue turned her head and glanced at Sun Wei coldly. That's right. Everyone calls me Master Sun, Sun Wei said proudly. Master? Are you qualified to be called a master? Leng Ruoxue asked. On the boundless heaven continent, only certain virtuous master alchemists would be respectfully addressed as masters. And those at the Grand Master Alchemist level and above would be addressed as excellencies. Humph. I'm the beloved disciple of the Alchemist Association headquarters president. If I'm not qualified to be addressed as master, then others are even less qualified, Sun Wei said, suppressing his anger. So you're the disciple of the headquarters president. No wonder you're so arrogant. However, being called a master isn't about status but the attainments and character of an alchemist in alchemy. I don't know how your attainments are, but your character is really insulting the honorific title of a master. Leng Ruoxue said very disdainfully. Humph. She didn't care about this fellow's identity. Anyone who dared to humiliate her in public had to pay the price. Chapter 444, The Aggressive Little Icy, 1, Haha, well said. Truly well said. At this moment, the little old man appeared out of nowhere and clapped his hands in praise. In fact, he had been here for a while, but he didn't appear because he wanted to see how his foolish disciple would deal with this fellow. But this result. Clearly, he wasn't satisfied. Master. Zheng En bowed respectfully and then lowered his head, not daring to look at the little old man. Raise your head, the little old man rebuked with a displeased face. He was a little disappointed that his disciple didn't live up to his expectations. He knew that his disciple didn't want to cause trouble for them, but how could he be someone who was afraid of trouble? Moreover, what he couldn't tolerate was someone bullying his disciple. Master. Zheng En looked up at the little old man with tears in his eyes. The little old man cleared his throat and said loudly, Zheng En. If you are my disciple, tell me what happened back then and let everyone here judge. I believe everyone's eyes are clear on who is right and who is wrong. Yes, Master. Zheng En hesitated but still answered. Although this matter was a little difficult for him to say, he knew that he really couldn't hide what had happened back then at this moment. The little old man stroked his beard and nodded with satisfaction. This is more like my disciple. 15 years ago, when I was still an alchemist, Sun Wei and I participated in an alchemy competition held by the Alchemist Association headquarters. In this competition, Sun Wei and I were the best among all the participants, so we became friends and appreciated each other. In fact, this was just my wishful thinking. Sun Wei didn't treat me as a friend at all. He approached me for another purpose. He approached me to obtain my trust, and then he tampered with my pill furnace. That time, he obtained first place in the competition. Afterward, he was accepted as a disciple by the president of the headquarters. He was at his best and still regarded me as his confidant. At the time, I was very touched and would say almost anything to him. But something happened not long after. Someone said that a pill I concocted killed someone. I didn't know the whole story at all, so I was directly convicted and expelled from the Alchemist Association. Later on, by chance, I got to know that it was all Sun Wei's doing in the dark. He deliberately framed me so that I couldn't be an alchemist. Moreover, the cause of all of this was envy. He was envious of my talent and wanted to become a disciple of the headquarters president. He had always treated me as his greatest competitor, so he wanted to destroy me. He wanted me to be deserted and despised by everyone. In the following years, Sun Wei kept sending people to hunt me down. Zheng En explained while suppressing his hatred. After everyone present heard Zheng En's words, there was a moment of silence. They were not clear about the authenticity of the matter back then, but everyone believed that at least 50% of Zheng En's words were trustworthy because such things did happen on the boundless heaven continent. Don't listen to his nonsense. He's just quibbling. What I said is true. Sun Wei hurriedly said after seeing everyone's doubtful gazes. Len Ruoxua looked at Sun Wei and said with a slight mockery, "What's the rush? Are you feeling guilty? Everyone knows what's right and wrong. Not just anyone can change it with a few words." Sun Wei was at a loss for words. Everyone, I believe you are all intelligent people. This matter is from a long time ago, so you want know the truth of the matter. Even I am not very clear about it. Although Zheng En is my subordinate, please believe me. If it's really Zheng En's fault, I will definitely not protect him. But if what happened back then is really as Zheng En said, then I won't let anyone who dares to bully my subordinate go. Therefore, I hope everyone can give us some time to investigate the truth of the matter back then. This way, we will not wrong a good person, nor will we let the bad person continue to be carefree, Len Ruoxua said to all the onlookers. Sun Wei isn't the only one who knows how to use the power of public opinion. I also know how to. The surrounding citizens felt that Len Ruoxua's words were reasonable and nodded one after another, expressing their support for her to investigate the truth back then. In fact, what happened back then had nothing to do with them at all. But everyone was gossipy, so they were also very curious about the truth of the matter back then. It wouldn't be a loss for them if they knew. Everyone, for the sake of fairness, I hope you won't discuss this matter anymore. I will naturally give everyone an explanation for it, Len Ruoxua said again after seeing that she had achieved the effect she wanted. She didn't want these people to point at Zheng En and gossip when they saw him in the future. Okay. The people nodded and left. At this moment, Ling Qingtian and the others emerged from the darkness. "Ha, lass, you're the best," old Zhao said with a smile. They had been thinking of a way to help Zheng En without making him feel awkward. He didn't expect the girl to solve the problem with a few words. Leng Ruoxue glanced at Sun Wei and then said to Ling Qingtian and the others, "Let's go back to our room." "Okay." Everyone nodded and walked toward the room collectively. "Stop! Stop right there!" Sun Wei shouted from behind them, but no one bothered with him. Leng Ruoxue deliberately put on a stern face after entering the room. She glared at Zheng En and said with slight displeasure, "Zheng En, isn't he just the disciple of the Alchemist Association headquarters president? Why are you afraid of him?" "That's right. Brat Zheng, your performance just now was very embarrassing for us. What do we usually teach you?" Old Zhao also reprimanded very unhappily. If the waiter in the inn hadn't told them that something had happened to Zheng En, they would have still been kept in the dark. Zheng En was speechless. "Alright, don't make things difficult for my disciple. He's just too kind and is afraid of implicating us. Otherwise, he wouldn't be bullied by others." The little old man helped his disciple out of the predicament. Chapter 445, The Aggressive Little Icy, 2, Master, I'm sorry. "I'm too useless," Zheng En said. "Silly boy. What do you intend to do with this matter?" the little old man asked with some heartache. It's been 15 years since this matter happened. It probably won't be easy to find witnesses to prove what happened back then. In fact, I originally wanted to get rid of Sun Wei when I became stronger, but now, Zheng En was a little at a loss. He wanted to clear his name, but unless Sun Wei confessed, the truth of the matter back then would probably only sink to the bottom of the sea. After all, Sun Wei was a very careful person. He had probably eliminated the people who worked for him back then long ago. It's indeed not easy to find the witnesses from back then, so the best way is to get Sun Wei to confess. "This will save us a lot of trouble," Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. "Get him to confess?" "That's impossible," the little old man said. "How will we know if we don't try? Moreover, I have a way to make him confess," Leng Ruoxue said mysteriously. "Lass, what idea do you have? Tell me about it." Old Zhao was really too curious. You'll know when the time comes." Leng Ruoxue kept them in suspense. "Lass, tell me. Otherwise, I won't be able to sleep," old Zhao pleaded pitifully. "No." Leng Ruoxue's will was very firm. After speaking, Leng Ruoxue dragged Freak back to her room. In the room, Freak hugged Leng Ruoxue's waist and asked with some bitterness on his face, "Swear, don't tell me you won't even tell me." "Ha! I can tell you, but you can't tell others," Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Why does the resentful expression on Freak's face make me want to bully him so much? Yes, yes. Freak nodded repeatedly. "Come closer." Leng Ruoxue lowered Freak's head and whispered her plan into his ear. "Are you sure it will work?" Freak asked doubtfully. "Yes." Leng Ruoxue nodded slightly. At this moment, there was a knock on the door outside the room. Freak turned to open the door but found that it was actually the middle-aged man standing at the door. Alas! He was really like a lingering ghost. "What do you want by following us?" Freak asked irritably, his face full of displeasure at being disturbed. "I just want to see that puppy," the middle-aged man said stubbornly, looking like he wouldn't turn back until he saw the puppy. Freak rolled his eyes and said speechlessly, "It's just a dog. What's there to see? My grandson likes dogs very much. I heard that your dog is very likable, so I came to take a look so that I can also get him an identical one," the middle-aged man said helplessly. "Our Icy is unique." Freak couldn't help reminding. Icy was not a real dog, so how could there be an identical one in the world? It was only possible if he could get a Qilin for his grandson. However, chilents were not cabbages that could be found just because you wanted. Yes, I know. Let me take a look. It won't be a loss for you if I just take a look, right? The middle-aged man said without giving up. Humph. He decided that he wouldn't leave if he didn't see the puppy. Freak, let him in. Leng Ruoxue, who had been listening in the room for a while, said helplessly. She really didn't know what to do with this middle-aged man's persistence. All right. Come in. Freak made way and let the middle-aged man in. Where's the dog? The middle-aged man looked for the puppy impatiently after entering the room. Leng Ruoxue moved Icy out of the bracelet and put him on the bed. This is your puppy. The middle-aged man looked at Icy, who was sleeping soundly on the bed, and couldn't help being a little disappointed. This dog looked very ordinary. It was so small and not as mighty as the dogs he had found. He really couldn't understand why his grandson liked this puppy so much. Yes. He's called Icy, Leng Ruoxue explained simply. What's so good about this dog? Can he look after the house? Can he catch mice? Can he play with his master? Can he? The middle-aged man asked non-stop. Leng Ruoxue was speechless with every question he asked. After asking, the middle-aged man looked at Leng Ruoxue expectantly, waiting for her to answer his questions. Ah. Our Icy doesn't know anything except eating and sleeping, Leng Ruoxue said helplessly while wiping the cold sweat off her forehead. Our Icy is a Qilin, so he doesn't know anything that those dogs can do. Why do you keep him if he doesn't know anything? Why don't you sell him to me? The middle-aged man said after some thought. Humph. Doesn't my grandson like this dog? Then I'll buy this dog for him. I'm sorry. Little Icy is not for sale. Leng Ruoxue was speechless. Is this middle-aged man mentally abnormal? Why are his thoughts so whimsical? I'm willing to pay a sky-high price, the middle-aged man said resolutely. He's not for sale, Leng Ruoxue said firmly. Then how are you willing to sell this dog to me? The middle-aged man refused to give up. I'll say it one last time. Little Icy is not for sale. He's priceless, and I won't sell him for any amount of money, Leng Ruoxue said without any room for negotiation. What if I insist on buying him? The middle-aged man's aura suddenly became a little unyielding. He's not for sale, Leng Ruoxue said impatiently. Why is this middle-aged man so stubborn? Doesn't he understand what I'm saying? You'd better sell him to me. At least you can obtain some money that way. With this money, you can buy as many dogs as you want. But if you don't sell him to me and force me, I will snatch him away, the middle-aged man threatened with both soft and hard tactics. Oh. You can try. Little Icy, wake up. Someone's here to snatch you, Leng Ruoxue said gloatingly, waking little Icy up. Chapter 446, The Aggressive Little Icy, 3, Who Dares to Snatch This Lord? You're courting death. Icy opened his beautiful ice-blue eyes and spoke with obvious displeasure. He hated two things in his life. One was others disturbing him while he was eating, and the other was others disturbing him while he was sleeping. It's this middle-aged uncle. Leng Ruoxue pointed at the middle-aged man not far away. Icy's blue eyes turned to the middle-aged man and looked at him carefully. Ha, I didn't expect this old man to be a mystic supremacy. Do you want to snatch me away? Icy asked. I wanted to buy you, but your master refused to sell you, so I was forced into it, the middle-aged man said aggrievedly. However, he was surprised. Is this really a puppy? Why do I have a very strange feeling? Hearing this, Leng Ruoxue grumbled in her heart. This middle-aged man is really not an ordinary scoundrel. You can't afford me. Icy said very arrogantly. Humph. There's nothing in this world that I can't afford. The middle-aged man's anger immediately surged when he heard Icy's words. Is that so? That's because you're too inexperienced, Icy said lightly while looking at the middle-aged man with interest. You're saying that I'm inexperienced? The middle-aged man was depressed. He had lived for more than 100 years, but a puppy said that he was inexperienced. How ridiculous. Of course. Icy nodded seriously. You are just a puppy. What right do you have to talk about me? The middle-aged man roared furiously. His roar was deafening and attracted Leng Qingtian and the others in the room next door. Leng Qingtian was the first to rush into his granddaughter's room and asked worriedly, Shuer, what happened? It's okay. Little Icy is arguing with this middle-aged uncle. Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. Ah. Leng Qingtian was stunned. He thought someone was sneak attacking them. Father. Lan Ming, who also followed over when he heard the sound, exclaimed in a daze. The middle-aged uncle Leng Ruoxue was talking about was actually his father. The word father stunned Leng Ruoxue and the others. They immediately reacted, and 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down their foreheads. None of them expected this middle-aged man to be the patriarch of the Lan family. Minger, you're here too. Lan Tao pretended to be stupid, his handsome face a little awkward. Yes. Lan Ming couldn't be bothered to play word games with him. It would be strange if the mighty patriarch of the Lan family didn't know that he was staying here. Minger, I want to buy this puppy, Lan Tao said bluntly. Father, you can't buy this puppy. Lan Ming was a little speechless. This puppy was not to be trifled with. Although he had already left the Lan family, he couldn't watch his father jump into a fire pit. Why can't I buy him? There's nothing in this world that I can't buy. Lan Tao roared angrily. I told you, you can't afford me. Icy rolled his eyes at Lan Tao. I didn't expect this old man to be the patriarch of the Lan family. Ah. It shouldn't be a problem if I beat up the patriarch of the Lan family. I said it too. There's nothing in this world that I can't afford. If there's really no other way, I'm going to snatch you. Lan Tao said unreasonably, his shamelessness rising again. Old thing, try snatching me. I will definitely let you know why flowers are so red. Icy threatened. I won't be polite if this old thing is really so insensible. I'm a mystic supremacy. Would I be afraid of a puppy like you? What a joke. Lan Tao didn't take Icy's threat seriously. In his opinion, he could kick this puppy away with a single kick. How dare this puppy boast that he wants me to know why flowers are so red? Do you want to try it? Icy asked with a naughty smile. No. Little Icy, show mercy. Lan Ming hurriedly stopped him. Go away. This is between us. Don't interfere. Lan Tao said very unpleasantly. My son actually asked this little dog to show me mercy. It really boosts the dog's aspirations and destroys my prestige. Yes, little Lan, go play somewhere else. This is a personal grudge between me and this old thing. Don't interfere, Icy said. How dare you have any ideas about me? I must let this old thing broaden his horizons today. Ah. Lan Ming was helpless and turned his pleading gaze to Leng Ruoxue. Little Lan, calm down. Let's watch the commotion from the side, Leng Ruoxue comforted. She obviously didn't intend to stop the confrontation between this man and dog. I like watching commotions. Old Zhao gloated. Hee, how can our Icy be so easy to bully? Come, everyone, sit down and eat some fruits. The show is about to begin. Old man also began to prepare happily. He took out a lot of food from his ring and placed it on the table. Hearing what old man said, everyone found a seat and sat down. They drank tea and ate snacks and fruits, preparing to watch the commotion. Several black lines rolled down Lan Ming's forehead. What kind of people are these? Old thing, let's begin. Icy narrowed his eyes disdainfully. Although their strength was on par, he was a Qilin. This old thing wasn't his match at all. Okay. Lan Tao admired this puppy's courage. No wonder my grandson likes him so much. Wait. Are you sure you want to fight here? Leng Ruoxua quickly asked before they prepared to start fighting. Is there a problem? Lan Tao asked in puzzlement. This is an inn, and it belongs to your Lan family, Leng Ruoxua reminded. It's okay. The quality of our Lan family's inns is good. Lan Tao said confidently. He didn't take this puppy seriously at all, so he didn't expect Icy to have any destructive power at all. Little Icy, this is our room. Be careful. Leng Ruoxua couldn't do anything about the stubborn middle-aged man, so she reminded Icy instead. Little Snowy, don't worry. I know my limits, Icy promised. Chapter 447, The Aggressive Little Icy. 4. Little Icy, please show mercy. Lan Ming, who was pulled away by old Zhao, said worriedly. It would have been better if Lan Ming didn't say this. After he finished speaking, Lan Tao became even angrier and couldn't help cursing. Stinky brat, is your father that useless? You actually want a puppy to show mercy. Ah. Lan Ming was a little aggrieved. Boo-hoo. Why am I always the one getting scolded? Ha. Just stay here obediently. You don't have to worry about what happens between them. Little Icy knows his limits, and he won't kill him. Leng Ruoxua was obviously comforting Lan Ming, but her words were like adding oil to the fire, instantly triggering all of Lan Tao's anger. You puppy, take this. Lan Tao roared and prepared to attack. Hurry up and attack if you want to fight. There's no need to say so much nonsense. Icy stood up lazily. Take this. Lan Tao gathered light blue mystic power in his palm and then released the water attribute mystic power. Icy looked at the dense water attribute mystic power approaching him without frowning at all. Instead, he opened his little mouth very calmly and sneezed dozens of times. In the blink of an eye, the raging water attribute mystic power was repelled. Moreover, it flew directly out of the window with Lan Tao and disappeared into the sky. Ah! Father! Lan Ming stood up anxiously and looked out the window, but there was no sign of Lan Tao. Little Icy, where did you send my father? Didn't I beg you to show mercy? Lan Ming said gloomily. I don't know where your father went either. Moreover, I did show mercy. But I have a cold today, so I accidentally sneezed a few more times. I'm so sorry. I didn't do it on purpose, Icy said guiltily. Little Lan Lan, don't worry. Your father is a mystic supremacy. His body is sturdy, and it won't break with a single touch. Leng Ruoxua hugged Icy and comforted Lan Ming. Ah. Yes, Lan family brat, don't worry. Mystic supremacies won't be injured so easily. The little old man also comforted him. But his eyes couldn't help looking at Icy with surprise. This puppy is really amazing. During the time he was with Leng Ruoxua and the others, this puppy named Icy either ate or slept. Therefore, he really didn't know that this puppy actually had such power. Little Lan Lan, don't worry, old Zhao comforted. He wanted to praise Icy, but now was obviously not the time. Alas. I hope so. I'll go to the Lan family estate and ask them to send people to search for him. Lan Ming still couldn't be completely at ease. I advise you not to go. The Lan family patriarch is obviously a stubborn old man who cares about face. If you tell the Lan family, he will definitely beat you up when he returns. Leng Ruoxua reminded very kindly. Ah. Lan Ming knew that what Leng Ruoxua said was the truth, so he was a little hesitant. After thinking about it, he decided not to report to the Lan family. Alas. Father. You can only count on yourself. It's not that I don't care about you. I'm doing it for your face. Little Lan, are all your Lan family members so shameless? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. The first elder of the Lan family was like this, and so was the patriarch. She really didn't know if there were any normal people in the Lan family. Ah. Of course not, Lan Ming said speechlessly while wiping the cold sweat off his forehead. But, why do I feel like they're all the same? Leng Ruoxue said honestly. Ha, lass, you don't know about this. This personality of the Lan family is hereditary. The Lan family members I know are like this. They will do anything to achieve their goals. They don't care about their faces or anything, the little old man said with a smile. Ah. Lan Ming really didn't know what to say. Why didn't his half-brothers inherit such a trait? He didn't either. No wonder. Leng Ruoxue nodded in realization. Swear, it's getting late. Let's go back to our rooms, Ling Qingtian said. In fact, he felt incomparable pity for the Lan family patriarch. Alas. He could have provoked anyone but their family's little Icy. Now that little Icy had shown his might, the Lan family patriarch had disappeared. Ah. Good luck to you, patriarch. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded. After sending Ling Qingtian and the others away, she entered the bracelet with Freak and Icy. Big sister. Qing Ju appeared in front of Leng Ruoxue. Qing Ju, how are big brother and the others? Leng Ruoxue asked with concern. They're all right, Qing Ju answered. Where's Confound? Leng Ruoxue asked again. Master, I'm here. A small white snake appeared on Leng Ruoxue's wrist. Confound, are you confident? Leng Ruoxue asked. Master, it depends on how strong that person's willpower and strength are. I'm not too confident if he's too strong, Confound said honestly. Don't worry. I don't think his willpower is very strong. As for his strength, he's just an elementary mystic like me, Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. That's much easier. But I have to prepare first, Confound said. Okay. Tell me if you need anything. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Master, I'm going down to prepare. Confound slipped off Leng Ruoxue's wrist and left. After Confound left, Leng Ruoxue and Freak walked into the purple bamboo house to rest. The next morning. After Leng Ruoxue and Freak left the bracelet, they went directly to Zheng En's room. Mississippi. Zheng En heard a knock on the door and opened it. Zheng En, we're going to the exchange with you today, Leng Ruoxue said bluntly. Zheng En and Lan Ming were supposed to go together today, but she was a little worried after what had happened yesterday, so she decided to go with them. Miss. Zheng En didn't know how to express his gratitude. Let's go. Go get Lan Ming. We'll wait for you at the entrance of the inn. Leng Ruoxue left with Freak after instructing him. At the medicinal herb exchange meeting venue. Chapter 448, The Little Old Man's Identity, 1. After Leng Ruoxue and the others arrived, they set up their stalls and went about their business. Leng Ruoxue leaned comfortably in Freak's arms, hugged Icy, and closed her eyes to take a nap. Zheng En took out the little old man's record of his alchemy experiences of many years and looked at it carefully. As for Lan Ming, he circled the venue because he was bored and chatted with random people. Zheng En, you're really brazen. How dare you come here? An ear-piercing voice sounded in the ears of Leng Ruoxue and the others. Leng Ruoxue still kept her eyes closed and ignored the owner of the voice. Freak didn't even raise his eyes and completely ignored the existence of this person. As for Zheng En, he only looked up once and then continued to lower his head. Zheng En, how dare you? You actually, Sun Wei couldn't finish his sentence even after speaking for a long time. He was so angry that he was a little incoherent. Where did this annoying fly come from? It's buzzing non-stop. So noisy. Leng Ruoxua frowned and opened her eyes in displeasure. Damn ugly monster, who are you calling a fly? Sun Wei roared furiously. His roar attracted the attention of everyone present. Is there a need to ask? Is there anyone else here? Leng Ruoxua said with slight mockery as she looked at Sun Wei like he was an idiot. How dare you? Guards! Chase them out! Sun Wei roared furiously. Leng Ruoxua smiled lightly and silently looked at Sun Wei as if she was looking at a joke. Did you hear me? Hurry up and chase them out. Sun Wei roared at the staff beside him. He was so angry that his face and neck were red, and the veins on his forehead were bulging. Master Sun, I don't have such authority, the staff said calmly, the impatience in his eyes flashing for a moment. Go call your first elder over. They don't have the right to stay here, Sun Wei ordered arrogantly. Then, Master Sun, please wait. I'll go back to the Lan family estate and invite the first elder now, the staff said. Go quickly. Sun Wei ordered. The staff looked at Leng Ruoxua meaningfully and then left the exchange meeting venue. Alchemist's son, you're too arrogant. Leng Ruoxua said with a light smile. Humph. Ugly monsters, you will regret offending me, Sun Wei said with a face full of arrogance. He was the beloved disciple of the Alchemist Association headquarters president. Everyone in the Lan family would have to give him some face. Is that so? I'll wait and see. With that, Leng Ruoxua closed her eyes again and ignored Sun Wei. The alchemists in the venue looked as though they were watching a good show. Some of them even looked at Sun Wei with pity, but the overly arrogant Sun Wei didn't notice it. In the Lan family estate. After the staff returned to the Lan family estate, he didn't go directly to see the first elder but returned to his room to sleep. By the time he woke up, it was already 5 hours later. Stinky brat, you're finally willing to wake up. The third elder of the Lan family was sitting by the bed with a kind face and scolded jokingly. Grandpa, why are you here? Lan Xiang, who was dressed as a staff member, asked in puzzlement. Stinky brat, you've ignored Sun Wei's matter for 5 hours. That fellow couldn't wait any longer and sent his subordinate here. Fortunately, I stopped him, the third elder said helplessly, his old face full of affection for his grandson. Grandpa, you can't blame me for this. You don't know how annoying Sun Wei is. I've only accompanied him for less than a day, and he's already shouting at me and ordering me around like I'm his servant, Lan Xiang complained. Ha, you were the one who said you wanted to gain some experience. Who can you blame? Not only did the third elder not pity his grandson's plight, but he even laughed out loud. Grandpa, I'm your only grandson. Can you bear to see me being bullied? Lan Xiang said, acting spoiled. All right, stinky brat, stop acting spoiled. Isn't it time for you to go and see the first elder, the third elder reminded kindly. If he didn't let the first elder know about this matter, Sun Wei would probably come personally. Okay, I'm going to see first grandpa. Lan Xiang got up from the bed, tidied up simply, and went straight to the first elder's study. When he arrived at the door of the study and felt that there were outsiders inside, Lan Xiang deliberately shouted outside the door, subordinate has something important to report. In the study, the first elder's lips twitched as he said indifferently, come in. Lan Xiang strode into the study and bowed respectfully. What's the matter? The first elder asked with a frown. It's like this. Master Sun had a dispute with someone at the medicinal herb exchange, so he ordered me to ask the first elder to back him up. He wants to chase those who are in conflict with him out of the exchange, Lan Xiang reported. Oh, the first elder answered softly and glanced at the middle-aged man sitting opposite him. This unfilial disciple. Hee, first elder, I'm really sorry. It's all my fault for not teaching him well. The middle-aged man was none other than Sun Wei's master, the president of the Alchemist Association headquarters, Ren Li. Hee, President Ren, you're too polite. Master Sun was bullied in our Lan family's territory. We didn't take care of him well, the first elder said politely. Tell me what happened in detail. The first elder turned to Lan Xian. Yes. Lan Xiang described the incident to them in detail. After hearing this, the first elder frowned again. I didn't expect Sun Wei would actually have a conflict with Leng Ruoxu's group. What should I do? I don't like Sun Wei either, but logically speaking, I should be on the side of the Alchemist Association headquarters. But my intuition tells me that I have to befriend Leng Ruoxue. Alas. I'm not sure what to do. President Ren, why don't we go and take a look? If Master Sun is really bullied, my Lan family will definitely uphold justice for him, First Elder Lan Hong said ambiguously. Okay, Renli replied with a nod. Then he stood up and left the Lan family estate with the First Elder. Chapter 449, The Little Old Man's Identity, 2, at the venue of the Medicinal Herb Exchange meeting. After waiting for several hours, Sun Wei didn't see anyone from the Lan family and kept circling on the spot. He was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. He had to chase Sheng En and his group out of Blue Cloud City today. Otherwise, he wouldn't feel at ease if they stayed here for another day. On the other hand, Leng Ruoxue and the others were much calmer. They did what they were supposed to do without being affected in any way. The first elder is here, someone shouted, and everyone's eyes instantly turned to the door. The Lan family's first elder, Lan Hong, was currently surrounded by people as he slowly walked into the venue. As for the people beside him, most of the alchemists also knew them. The alchemists familiar with Leng Ruoxue and the others all cried out in their hearts when they saw who they were and silently worried for Leng Ruoxue and her group. What happened? The first elder asked the advisor as he walked to Sun Wei. First elder, master. Sun Wei bowed respectfully, forming a sharp contrast with his arrogant and overbearing appearance just now. Are you the president of the Alchemist Association headquarters? Leng Ruoxue asked calmly after hearing Sun Wei call him master. Yes, Renli replied lightly. How many disciples do you have? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. This president of the Alchemist Association headquarters was about 50 years old, had good facial features, and looked quite upright. But why had he handled the matter back then so casually? She really couldn't understand. 3. Why? Renli was puzzled. This little girl's thinking was so strange. Why was she asking him this? It had nothing to do with her. Oh. Leng Ruoxue nodded slightly and stopped talking. Her question stunned many people for a moment because they didn't know what her meaning in asking this question was. Master, these people are not alchemists. They are not qualified to participate in the medicinal herb exchange at all, Sun Wei said impatiently. Alchemist's son, who told you that only alchemists can exchange here? Going by your opinion, wouldn't the medicinal herb merchants be unqualified to enter as well? Leng Ruoxue asked in return. You are not herb merchants. Sun Wei said after some thought. He believed that these people must have sneaked in as alchemists. He didn't know why they were here, but he was confident that the Lan family would definitely not send invitations to nameless people like them. How do you know we're not? Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Isn't this man too self-righteous? Sun Wei looked at the ordinary herbs on the stall disdainfully and said mockingly, How dare you call yourself a medicinal herb merchant with these herbs you put out? You can't judge a book by its cover. Didn't your master teach you? Leng Ruoxue looked at Renli and smiled. This is my business. You have no right to stay here anyway, Sun Wei said unreasonably, his eyes glaring fiercely at Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue turned her head to look at Renli and said fearlessly, I'm very curious. Why did you accept this disciple? Your taste is really too poor. He's simply a scumbag. I think your master will probably be angered to death if he knows that you accepted such a disciple. Hearing Leng Ruoxue's words, Everyone present couldn't help but be at a loss for words. They were even sweating for her in their hearts. Phew, she was really too bold. She actually dared to criticize the president of the Alchemist Association headquarters in front of everyone. Damn it. What nonsense are you saying? Sun Wei was furious. Unfortunately, Len Ruoxue couldn't even be bothered to look at him. Ha, lass, you still dare to talk to me like this despite knowing my identity. You're really gutsy. Renly was not as angry as everyone thought. Instead, he laughed happily. Interesting. No one has dared to talk to me like this since I became the president of the headquarters. For some reason, this actually made him feel a little friendlier to her. I'm an honest child. Of course I have to tell the truth, Len Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Ha. Okay, what an honest answer. But I'm the president of the headquarters after all. Aren't you not giving me face by saying this in public? After laughing, Renly deliberately put on a stern face and spoke unpleasantly. Well, I've already said it, Len Ruoxue said indifferently. Lass, are you really not afraid of me at all? Renly asked curiously. Len Ruoxue raised her head, looked at Renly up and down, and then shook her head. No. If you dare to bully me, Little Icy won't let you go. She raised Little Icy as a shield. Ah. Who is Little Icy? Renly couldn't help asking. Him. Len Ruoxue pointed at the puppy sleeping soundly in her arms. Ah. So small. Renly was a little speechless. How could such a small dog not let him go? What? Didn't your master teach you not to judge a dog by its appearance? Len Ruoxue asked with a smile, her face full of curiosity. Of course I taught him, a loud voice interrupted. Master! Master! Two voices sounded at the same time. Renly and Zheng En looked at each other in surprise, both feeling a little baffled. Len Ruoxue looked at the little old man who suddenly appeared in realization. In fact, she had long guessed that this little old man's identity was not simple, but she didn't expect him to be the legendary Excellency Du Min. Everyone present was stunned when they heard Renly and Zheng En actually call the little old man master at the same time, but they quickly reacted. Heavens! Wasn't President Ren's master His Excellency Du Min? At this moment, the alchemists were so excited. The first elder of the Lan family, Lan Hong, was also stunned when he heard Renly's greeting. He never dreamed that this old man was actually His Excellency Du Min. Suddenly, he remembered Lan Ning'er's rudeness to this person. Alas! No wonder he had a deep grudge against the Lan family. It seemed like the Lan family had really slighted him. Humph. Enner, someone is bullying you. The little old man snorted coldly and then spoke to Zheng En amiably. Chapter 450, The Little Old Man's Identity, 3, Master. Zheng En looked at the little old man, a little embarrassed. He didn't expect his master to be His Excellency Du Min. In this way, wouldn't the president of the Alchemist Association headquarters be his senior brother? Then Sun Wei, alas. This relationship is really messy. Master. Renly called out excitedly when he saw his master. He hadn't seen his master for many years, but his master actually ignored him. Why was that? Boo-hoo. Humph. He's your junior brother, master's new disciple, the little old man introduced simply. In fact, he came to Blue Cloud City with two main objectives. One was to exchange herbs, and the other was to inspect the Lan family's fifth young lady. However, he had already completed these two objectives. Hello, junior brother, Renly said politely. Ah. Senior brother. Zheng En stammered. He was still a little unaccustomed to the change in identity because it was really too sudden for him. Master, let me introduce him to you. He is your grand disciple, Sun Wei. Renly pulled over the dazed Sun Wei and introduced him. Oh. The little old man didn't even raise his eyelids and just responded indifferently. Humph. Those who dare to bully my disciple aren't qualified to be acknowledged by me. Unfilial disciple, quickly address him. Renly patted Sun Wei's head and urged him with some displeasure. At the same time, he couldn't help muttering in his heart, this disciple of mine is usually quite smart. What's going on today? There's no need. I can't bear it, the little old man said coldly. Master. Renly was a little puzzled. Master seems to be very displeased with my disciple. Is it because of this little girl? Junior brother is with them, so it appears Master should also know this girl. Master, although Sun Wei has a feud with them, I believe that this is definitely a misunderstanding, Renly tried to smooth things over. Is that so? The little old man raised his eyelids slightly. Lass, it's just a misunderstanding between you two, right? Renly gave Leng Ruoxue a meaningful look. Leng Ruoxue pretended not to see and said without giving him face, I don't know. You have to ask your disciple. Seeing that Leng Ruoxue was unwilling to cooperate, Renly could only scold his disciple. Sinful disciple, tell me. Is this a misunderstanding? Master, they are not qualified to participate in the exchange at all. Moreover, do you remember who this Zheng'an is? Grandmaster is being deceived by him. After regaining his scenes, Sun Wei roared with raging jealousy. Why could Zheng'an have such good luck? 15 years ago, Zheng'an was only a loser under him. But 15 years later, this damn Zheng'an actually became his uncle master. How could he accept this? He was so jealous. Unfilial disciple, do you know what you're saying? Renly roared with some displeasure and stole a timid glance at his master, only to find that his master's expression was very ugly. His heart skipped a beat and turned half cold. Master, he is Zheng'an. Zheng'an. Don't you remember that you expelled Zheng'an from the Alchemist Association headquarters 15 years ago? Sun Wei reminded. Ah. With Sun Wei's reminder, he really remembered that he had expelled an alchemist from the headquarters 15 years ago. But is that person really the same person as my junior brother in front of me? Is Master being deceived? Master, Renly looked at the little old man, not knowing what to say. I know who he is. In addition, I have to tell you that he is now my disciple, your junior brother, the little old man said very seriously. Yes, Master. Since his master said so, he naturally couldn't say anything as his disciple. Moreover, his master had always been stubborn. There was no way he could change his mind. Grandmaster, you can't accept this person as your disciple. He's not worthy at all. He's a sinner of our alchemy world. Sun Wei was so jealous that he was about to go crazy. He didn't give up and persuaded him with a face full of respect. Sun Wei, right? Do I need your permission to accept a disciple? Moreover, I don't acknowledge that you are my grand disciple, so don't act so friendly, the little old man said disdainfully. Humph. I met Sun Wei yesterday, so why didn't he treat me respectfully then? He changed his attitude after knowing my identity today. Grandmaster. Sun Wei was a little dumbfounded. Why is he protecting Zheng'an even though he knows his identity? I said don't call me Grandmaster. The little old man didn't intend to acknowledge Sun Wei's identity at all. Grandmaster, I'm doing this for your own good. If outsiders know about what happened regarding Zheng'an back then, it will affect your reputation. Sun Wei still acted the same as before, calling out shamelessly and even having an expression that said I'm doing this for Grandmaster's good. I believe the truth of what happened back then will come to light one day. But what I want to tell you is that Zheng'an is my disciple. If any of you dare to look down on him, then don't stay in the Alchemist Association, the little old man shouted at everyone present with a glare. He didn't care if these people knew what had happened back then, but whether they did or not, he wouldn't allow these people to look at his disciple with different eyes. After this, everyone present hurriedly nodded. Alas! No one dared to disobey him. He was a godlike figure in the hearts of all alchemists. Master. Zheng En was so touched that tears welled up in his eyes, and he was so excited that he could barely speak. Silly boy, how can I be at ease if you're so easily bullied? The little old man said helplessly. Zheng En lowered his head and said guiltily, Master, I'm too useless. You are very useless, but you are lucky. The little old man gently patted Zheng En's head and scolded him with a smile. Yes. Zheng En nodded. Your Excellency Du Min, I've heard a lot about you, the Lan family's first elder said when he saw that the matter was almost resolved. The little old man narrowed his eyes and questioned with some displeasure, Lan family brat, are you here to chase my disciple and the others out? Of course not. I'm just here to understand the situation, the first elder said tactfully. In this situation, how foolish would he be if he still had to consider which side to stand on? Chapter 451, The Little Old Man's Identity, 4:0. Lan family brat, if there's nothing else, well go back first, the little old man said with a slight nod. Your Excellency Du Min, I didn't know your identity previously, and it was really rude of me to let you stay in an inn, the Lan family's first elder said awkwardly. In fact, what he wanted to say was that he wanted His Excellency Du Min to stay in the Lan family estate, but he didn't know how to say it. It doesn't matter. I'm just a countryside old man. It doesn't matter where I stay, the little old man said nonchalantly. Your Excellency Du Min, why don't you move to our Lan family estate? Otherwise, my father will blame us if he finds out that we neglected you, the first elder said after some thought. Don't be afraid. I won't complain about you. By the way, is Lan Tao home? The little old man asked curiously while looking at Icy. Ah. The patriarch went out to do something, the first elder said. When did he leave? The little old man asked. Yesterday, the first elder said. His elder brother had gone out yesterday, but he had yet to return. He didn't know where he went, and he didn't even tell them. This is too much. He couldn't help cursing in his heart. What? My father isn't back yet? Lan Ming couldn't help asking loudly. Not yet. Ah. Minger, have you seen the patriarch? The first elder asked doubtfully. Minger's reaction is really too strange. No, how could I have seen my father? Lan Ming stammered, but he was worried. Where was father blown to by Icy sneeze? Little Lan Lan, let's pack up and go back to the inn. Leng Ruoxue suddenly said, deliberately changing the topic. Oh, okay, Lan Ming answered. He understood what Leng Ruoxue meant, so he didn't dare to show it even though he was a little worried. Boo-hoo, this concerned the old man's face. Leng Ruoxue and the others packed up, left the venue, and returned to the inn. After entering the room, Leng Ruoxue realized that Ren Li and Sun Wei were actually following her, so she said with some displeasure, You're in the wrong room. You ugly monster, we're here to see my grandmaster. Move aside. Sun Wei roared with some displeasure, his eyes revealing a vicious expression. Ugly monster. I'll show you what an ugly monster is today. Leng Ruoxue summoned her cute little beasts. Darling, you know what to do. Leng Ruoxue smiled evilly at her beasts. Beloved master, don't worry. Leave this thing to us. Darling jumped into Leng Ruoxue's arms and rubbed against her coquettishly. Okay, teach him a good lesson. Leng Ruoxue caressed Darling's fluffy fur and smiled lightly. Yes, beloved master. Brothers, let's go defeat the bad guy who bullied master, roared the small and exquisite Darling, and a few beasts pounced. In a moment, Sun Wei was hiding in a sorry state, wanting to avoid the attacks of the small beasts. But he couldn't dodge no matter what. In a short while, his body was full of injuries. Moreover, his hair was disheveled, his face was full of scratches, and his clothes were tattered, half covering over his body, in danger of exposing his naked body at any time. Come on, come on. Old Zao cheered loudly. Darling, scratch him. Use all your strength. Lin Liang echoed, his expression very excited. Hee, it had been a long time since there was such an intense scene. Standing at the side, Renly watched as the little beasts punched, kicked, and scratched his disciple. However, he was helpless. It was not that he didn't want to save his disciple, but under the sharp glare of his master, he couldn't bring himself to ask the beasts to show mercy. Alas! Perhaps Sun Wei should be taught a lesson. He had never thought that such small beasts would have such strong attack power. Master, save me! Master, save me! Sun Wei, who was dizzy from the beating, finally found an opportunity and hurriedly shouted. But how could the little beasts be willing to give him a chance to seek help? Darling disappeared with a whoosh and returned in the blink of an eye. Moreover, in his paw was a ball of cloth emitting a strange smell. Darling smiled evilly and stuffed the ball of cloth into Sun Wei's mouth. Then he turned to all the beasts and said, Brothers, continue beating him up. Beat him until even his father can't recognize him. Okay. All the beasts nodded again and again, their excitement beyond words. Darling. Where did you get that cloth? Old Zao asked curiously while looking at Sun Wei, who had been beaten until he had a pig's head. Hee, it's a secret. Darling kept him in suspense. At this moment, a furious roar sounded from outside the door. Damn, someone stole my underwear. Why is the security in your inn so poor? Hearing this, Leng Ruoxue and the others in the room were at a loss for words. They couldn't help grumbling in their heads, Darling, you're so cruel. After some time, the beasts were tired from beating, and Sun Wei was completely unconscious. Renly finally heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, at least his disciple was still alive. Ah! These little beasts' claws were too ruthless. But things wouldn't end as easily as he imagined. Darling, resting on the table, looked at everyone in the room with a naughty smile. Then he raised his voice and roared, The thief who stole underwear is here. Ah! Leng Ruoxue and the others were sweating profusely when they heard Darling's words. They thought, Darling. Sun Wei has already been beaten up so badly that even his father can't recognize him, and you still want to accuse him of stealing underwear. He's really too pitiful. They actually felt some pity for Sun Wei now. After Darling finished speaking, a dozen people ran in immediately. One of the burly men said anxiously, Where? Where? The one lying on the ground. Darling pointed his little paw at the unconscious Sun Wei. Chapter 452, Compensation for Mental Trauma, 1, Damn it. How dare you steal my underwear? Are you tired of living? The burly man roared furiously. He had long cursed the thief who stole his underwear to death in his heart. Damn it. I only have this pair of underwear, and you actually stole it. Big brother, we can't let this pig head go, another person said. Humph. How dare he steal their boss underwear? He really didn't know life from death. Okay, teach him a severe lesson. The burly man was enraged. He had been using the toilet. But his underwear has been snatched away as soon as he stood up. He didn't even see clearly who or what snatched his underwear. He only felt a gust of wind blow past his lower body, and his lower body turned cold. Hearing the burly man's words, the dozen or so people who barged into Leng Ruoxue and the others' room gave the unconscious Sun Wei a good beating. After beating him up enough, the burly man took out the cloth in Sun Wei's mouth, bowed to Leng Ruoxue and the others, and said apologetically, Thank you for your help in catching the thief who stole my underwear. I have nothing to repay you with. If you need my help in the future, just tell me. After he finished speaking, the person behind him hurriedly handed a black token to Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue wiped the cold sweat off her forehead and said guiltily, It's only right to help if you see injustice on the road. There's no need to be so polite. This isn't an ordinary favor. You don't know the significance of this underwear to my big brother, said the person who handed Leng Ruoxue the token. Leng Ruoxue was speechless. What is the significance of underwear? Let me tell you. Our big brother is good in every way, but he doesn't like to change his underwear. He only has this one. The person was about to continue when his mouth was blocked by the burly man. I'm sorry, my brother is a little out of line. In fact, I often wash my underwear, the burly man couldn't help explaining. Oh. Leng Ruoxue answered softly, not knowing what to say. In her opinion, this burly man was obviously a little too stingy. Hee, farewell. You are welcome to come to my home as guests. The burly man scratched his head and smiled foolishly. Okay. I'll definitely go if there's a chance, Leng Ruoxue said politely. After these people left, Leng Ruoxue kicked the unconscious Sun Wei on the ground. Ah. He's still alive. Now that my disciple has been taught a lesson, can everyone forgive him? Renli, who had been standing at the side, took the opportunity to say. Alas. He hoped that this opportunity could resolve the conflict between them. Unfortunately, his wish was beautiful, but reality was cruel. That's impossible, Leng Ruoxue said lightly, but she was sneering in her heart. Humph. This old man's imagination is pretty good. How can it be so easy? But with Sun Wei's current appearance, it seemed like he was temporarily unable to confess about the matter from that time. You're just fighting because of your personal feelings. Now that you've already made him so miserable, what conflict can't be resolved? Renli didn't understand. Was there such a great enmity between them? In his opinion, his disciple was already miserable enough, so the anger of these people should be appeased. A dispute over personal feelings? To think you could think of that. Leng Ruoxue said with slight mockery. This old man thought of things a little too simply. No wonder he hadn't been able to see the truth back then and had been used by others. Could it be that you hate him so much because of what happened 15 years ago? Renli guessed after some thought. Even though he had somewhat forgotten it, he still remembered the incident involving his disciple back then. You're wrong. We don't hate him. Is he worthy? Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Then why did you? Renli was a little puzzled. Why couldn't everyone get along peacefully if they didn't hate Sun Wei? The matter from 15 years ago must be resolved, so you'd better not meddle in it. Leng Ruoxue reminded and also warned. He is my disciple. I can't leave him alone. Renli said stubbornly. Even though Sun Wei had a lot of shortcomings, he was still his disciple after all. Fine then. Don't call me master anymore, the little old man said, suppressing his anger. Master. Sun Wei is your grand disciple after all. Renli was about to continue, but he was interrupted by the little old man. I don't acknowledge him. If you insist on standing up for him, you don't have to call me master anymore, the little old man said heartlessly. Master, don't make things difficult for senior brother anymore. Zhengyan couldn't help pleading. Alas. He really didn't want his master to disregard the master-disciple relationship of many years he had with his senior brother. Silly boy, don't worry about this matter, the little old man said with a displeased glare. Yes. Zhengyan shut his mouth obediently. He was helpless against his master's stubbornness. Master, Sun Wei is seriously injured now. Let's talk about the grudges when he wakes up. Renli suggested. Alas. It seemed like his master had already made up his mind, and no one could change his master's decision. Okay, quickly take this thing and leave this place. I hate seeing him, the little old man said with some disgust. He had always been protective of his loved ones, so he really didn't have a good impression of Sun Wei. Master, I'll take my leave first. Renli sighed helplessly. With that, he left the room of Leng Ruoxue and the others with the mangled Sun Wei in one hand. After Renli left, Leng Ruoxua turned her gaze to Darling, who was sitting on the table with his legs crossed and eating spirit fruits. She said speechlessly, Darling, why do you steal everything? Beloved master, Darling doesn't steal everything. Boo-hoo. Your Darling never steals anything. I just borrowed them for a while. Darling jumped into Leng Ruoxua's arms and rubbed against her. His fluffy little face was full of grievance, and there were faint tears in his beautiful silver eyes. All right, stop pretending to be pitiful. I'm not blaming you. It's just that you're not allowed to borrow other people's underwear in the future. Ugh. Unhygienic. Leng Ruoxua reminded. Alas. It would have been fine if it hadn't been worn, but he had pulled it off of that man's body. It was so bad for him to think of this. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.